Jordy Culotta Show. Wave your hand out there, baby!
Shout out to the show.
She puts the pinky into the nostril. Man, look at that.
Healthy competition, there's nothing like it.
Y'all grow up.
The line's wrapped around the stadium.
Different strengths. I just lost a tooth.
It's going to be fun.
You know, we might have a story.
I love what you're doing.
Ogeron wants to take us fishing this afternoon.
Sharif, you play for the bad boys of the SEC, man. We don't apologize to anybody.
A lot of people are saying you're going to be wearing number 7.
I don't really know. I want to.
He look crazy, Bill. Good feet on the old man.
Definitely come back.
We'll be right back with the Jordy Culotta Show. Welcome into the Jordy Culotta Show, driven and powered by Go Chevrolet, live here on this Tuesday morning. Good morning. Appreciate you being here, starting your day here with us. Make sure you hit that like button, share button, comment button. If you have not subscribed, if you are here, if you are one of the 175 watching and not a subscriber, make sure and hit that subscription button for us. And if you're listening later in the day, on demand, all brought to you by R&B Builders, and you're not a subscriber, make sure and hit that subscription button. If you want to keep up with our stuff, just hit that bell and you'll be notified every time we go live. Like we said, appreciate you being here. Kyle Caskey will be here at 8:30 this morning. We will dive into LSU, Georgia. We will look at LSU's offense, obviously looking back and take away some of the points from this season, and we'll look at Kayshon Boutte, as he had an enormous announcement yesterday that we will talk all about here with the LSU football team in the teeth of recruiting, transfer portal stuff happening, a lots to get to here on the Jordy Culotta Show. As we said, hit that like button, share button, comment button. We'll be here with you until 9 a.m. this morning. Daily, as we said, brought to you by Go Chevrolet, our friends over at Go. Check them out, GEAUX, Go Chevrolet is online. They've got a new car lot in LaPlace. Their brand is exploding all over the South. They got 4 dealerships in Tennessee, 3 dealerships in Tennessee right now, with a 4th possibly on the way. So the Go brand is absolutely buzzing right now. Great selection in trucks. If you want to look for trucks right now, check out down in LaPlace at Go Chevrolet and online at GEAUXchevrolet.com. All right, so we will get to Kayshon here just real quick on the New Orleans Saints, and I will not be long here. 17-16, they fall last night to Brady. You might have gone to bed and saw the Saints up and only holding Brady and the Bucs offense to 3 points for the majority of the game. In fact, 57 minutes of the game last night, the Saints defense held Brady and the Bucs to 3 points. In the last 3.5 minutes, Brady goes for over 150 yards in the air and 2 touchdowns to win the game nearly at the buzzer in just throat-cutting fashion. I mean, just take your heart out type.
I lost my wife,
man.
I lost my kids.
That is just, I mean, vintage Brady and like old vintage Saints. The Saints are entering a period and a time right now where it feels like very pre-Sean Payton. I know that there is a generation of fans that do not recall what the Saints were like, and it's crazy to be a part of this number now in remembering when the Saints were the laughing stock of the league. And I'm not going there, but for the long time the Saints were bottom dwellers in the NFL. I mean, routinely joked about. I mean, they started, the fans in New Orleans were the ones that started wearing the bags on the head because they didn't want to be seen at the game pulling for the Saints, but there was nothing else to do on a Sunday, they would say, so they wanted to go to the Dome. And, I mean, the coaching, and look, Dennis Allen, I know what he was a part of the Saints regime, and he was a part of Sean Payton, and he was a head coach in the league before, and he struggled there, and it looks very similar to what it looked like in Oakland when he was leading the Raiders. Dennis Allen feels and it is looking as if he is way over his head, and that this job is just too big for him. And I'm not putting it all on Allen. They've got some personnel issues that they've got to tighten up. But the way that they lost last night's game, the way that they were shut out in San Francisco a week before that, is just, when you look at the Saints, I mean, they are so far 4-9 right now. They have guaranteed themselves a losing season for the first time since 2016. I mean, there is nothing good to report on the Saints. The only thing that's good about professional sports in New Orleans right now is the Pelicans. I mean, thank God for the Pelicans, because nobody's really. I mean, when's the last time you've paid this much attention to NBA basketball in November and December? As a professional sports fan in South Louisiana, right? Like, I mean, when I fell asleep with the Saints up last night. I mean, when I woke up this morning and saw that Brady had come back and won the game, I wasn't surprised. But then when I learned and watched how he did it, I was like, oof, this is
almost impossible.
That's the bottom, right? I mean, this has got to be the bottom. This is as bad as it's been for Dennis Allen. I mean, that was terrible, man. So I don't want to spend a lot of time on the Saints. It was bad. 4-9 last night is now the record after the loss, and the defense played well, like I said, for the majority of the game, but at the end they just they buckled and they couldn't hold Brady, and they win, man. But the Pelicans are legit, as Kimberly inside of the chat says. I'm telling you, man, the Pelicans are. And look, it's December, and a lot of time, and if you're cheering in December for the NBA, you'll have your
plenty of time,
your head knocked off in late in the season and in playoffs. It's just hard to sustain that clip of play for as long as an NBA regular season and playoff stretch is. But one thing that the Pelicans are and have a huge advantage is that they're really young. I mean, like they got young legs. They don't know. They don't know what they don't know.
Saints aren't.
The Saints are not young.
At least they got a first-round pick, Oh, wait.
No, they don't.
They give it to the Eagles. God bless, dude.
Imagine.
The only thing, I don't want to bury the lead because Kayshon coming back is obviously the big news for today, but the only thing that you can look forward to if you're a Saints fan is you just trade Sean Payton, hope you get something back. That's the best thing you could do, is you lost your best coach that you've had maybe ever.
Ever, for sure. Not maybe.
Maybe, definitely.
Yeah, well, 100%.
100%. Now you're just like, I hope I get a first-rounder back. What are they going to do?
They're in trouble. They're in big trouble. I mean, for as
Reggie
much
looks good on the set.
For as much money as they spent late in Breeze's career for a win now mode, which we all appreciate, or at least I did at the time. I knew that they were gearing up and trying to get rings, so I was fully on board. At some point, you got to pay the piper on that in the NFL, and if you can't manage the picks along that, it's going to be a tough time to get back. I mean, they don't have any part of the formula that it takes to win in the NFL. They don't have a bright-minded head coach. They don't have a franchise quarterback, and they don't have draft picks to build. They got nothing. They got zero.
And they got no
They got a coach that looks like he could be one and done. They only got one quarterback on contract next year, and that's Jameis Winston, who looks very unhappy. And all of their draft picks, or at least their impactful draft picks, they've had to deal away with some of their young talent, like Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, who's leading the league in interceptions. I mean,
Saints have 8 takeaways.
I think Chauncey has more interceptions than the whole team. Yeah. So look, and I know a lot of people are putting on Mark Ingram last night, and he had a chance on that short yardage, and he ran out of bounds. And Ingram is very apologetic on social media and has apologized to the Saints, his teammates, the city. Which, look, man, that's a terrible moment. But in reality, he's hurt. He should have gotten the yard. I'm not making an excuse, but it's more than that play for the Saints.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a lot more than that 1 yard. I mean, And on the next play, they throw slant. I mean, like, it's just disaster, man. They're a disaster.
You should have saw Ryan.
They are so hard to watch. I bet.
Bro, he needs a live stream.
Y'all should do a watch party on that stuff.
I should start live streaming, just watching Ryan watch the game.
You should.
Just stress, coach.
That's so great.
He's so pissed.
So
He's just like,
because he doesn't say anything.
He's like, we're in hell.
And and like if you're in it and you're passionate about it, the Saints feel like they're about to enter a stretch of like the abyss. Yeah. Like they're about to go into like NFL, the forgotten world of the NFL. You know what I mean? Like the Jacksonville Jaguars.
That's it. Yeah, go to storage, bust out the paper bag. If you have it.
Ask your grandfather, your uncle, and your dad about the days when he used to wear the bags over his head in the dome. Go watch Mike Ditka and Jim Haslett and Aaron Brooks.
Ricky Williams.
I mean, Bum Phillips. I mean, like,
it
ain't always been Sean Payton and Drew Brees, baby. I promise you that. I mean, people in a generation that have been spoiled by, I mean, if you're 25 years old, 28 years old, how old are you?
30.
You remember Jim Haslett?
Oh my God. Do you remember? Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, you do?
Yeah,
You do?
absolutely.
So, I mean,
I was going to say, like.
So if you're about 25 years old, you probably
only know good things.
You only know the Saints as a winner.
I caught the end of like Aaron Brooks' career, which is why I'm not a Saints fan.
Okay, yeah, I mean, like Aaron Brooks and Jim Haslett would have turned you completely off of the Saints.
Do you remember the?
I mean, Tom Benson was like, they were throwing drinks at him in Tiger Stadium when he was leaving.
That's why he had that umbrella.
He was like F-bombing them. Like he was like people were like wanting to like get at me, like throwing, fuck you, Tom. I mean, like,
sell the team, you
move
bum.
this. I mean, like
give it was. To your wife.
If you were at the Tiger Stadium, New Orleans Saints game post Katrina, it was
bizarre.
It was a strange world, man. Saban was there coaching the Dolphins one Sunday.
Wow. Oh God.
I mean, like it was one of the weirdest. I mean, like everybody's pulling for the Dolphins. I mean, like it was. I mean, people still like Saban then. You know what I mean? They still loved him. They didn't see him as the Alabama coach. He was still as the LSU architect.
He's on the wrong sideline.
Right. I mean, like it was, and like Benson's walking through Tiger Stadium, and people are just like throwing shit at him. I mean, like the people are throwing stuff at him. Yeah, like you bum.
You got 30,000 people in a 90,000 seat stadium, and it's just like this place is weird.
Oh, it was nuts, dude.
I mean,
it
but
was
the peak Saints is the Jerome Pathan. Remember when they tossed it back against the Jacksonville Jaguars?
Yeah, and then they missed the extra point.
Misses the extra point.
Yeah, the miracle.
Like,
it was like Deuce McAllister and like. I mean, it's an unbelievable play. And then
Dante Stallworth. And then they missed
they shanked the extra point.
Can't do anything.
He kicks it like out of the frame.
And that's when the extra point was 2 yards.
Hazlett's like, you gotta be shitting me. Like you can like read his will.
Takes the headset off. He's like, all right, let me go shake this guy's hand. I gotta get the hell out of here.
Hand the headset to the little
guy. I mean, dude, do you remember Mike Ditka on draft day with Ricky Williams?
Yeah, didn't he like?
He dealt all the picks away, then got on ESPN with dreads and a dreaded wig on. With a puffing a cigar, talking about his tea time and English turn that he can make now at 2:00. I mean, it was.
Then he got in a wedding dress on ESPN the magazine.
Yeah,
him and Ricky.
He put Ricky in a wedding dress.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, Ricky was in the wedding dress.
They were like getting married.
Yeah, because he dealt every pick.
It was unreal.
He's like, I want Ricky Williams.
He dealt every pick.
I don't need
it's not Madden, coach.
Give me Ricky Williams.
Whoa! Don't do that! Don't do that! No, don't do that!
Mike, you can't. I already did. Sorry.
Tom Benson's like, you're killing me.
Yeah. Well, hell, I mean, Mike, we can get out of here if you do it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
San Antonio. Speaking of not the NFL.
Yes, the huge story yesterday. So the Saints suck, and break your bags out because it looks like it could be a
which one?
It could be a tailspin. Yeah, right. But get Pelicans tickets for sure. So the big news around here yesterday is that Kayshon Boutte is returning, and I thought when it came out, I really thought it was a gaffe. I thought it was a prank.
I thought it was a joke too.
I thought it was a prank. I really did. I thought that. I mean, I had kind of heard this over the last couple of days that he was talking about it. But then I thought the play he made against Georgia, I really thought to myself kind of like, well, that's exactly what they're looking for.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Like, if you can still do that, and then you do it against that defense, I mean, you've kind of answered all of the questions that pro scouts would have about you, I would imagine, going to the next level. Like, where's he been all season? Why are his numbers like there? You can ask, but then like, whoa, he can still do that? Okay.
I mean, Coach,
all right. I mean.
When he was, there were people still trying to tackle him, and the announcer was like, he might be gone.
Yeah.
I said, you don't know who K is.
Like,
Right.
He hit
Gone.
That, he hit that gear.
Coach, he didn't get touched.
No.
He didn't get
but
touched.
But there was still people trying to tackle him, like converge on him, and the announcer's like, he might be gone.
I mean, he high-stepped his way into it.
It was beautiful.
Jordy, if I would have, after that play, after that score, if I would have given you odds of Kayshon plays and either Kayshon sits out the bowl game or comes back to LSU, which one would you have
I would have
picked?
definitely had him sitting
I
out.
was
I
sitting
thought
out.
that he was
done.
I thought he was a first-round lock. Like, when I saw that play, I was like, well, he just locked up his first-round status. By the way, real quick, on the speaking of playoff and opt-outs, big news, Smith and Jigba Smith, big wide receiver for Ohio State, who I thought was going to be a real game changer for them against Georgia, opted out yesterday. That was surprising to me. But Kayshon coming back for LSU is enormous news. And I think the biggest winner in this, besides, the wide receiver room and the quarterbacks, is Brian Kelly. Is the message he can now send, sell, and internally has to feel like what he is doing is really working by what just happened yesterday in the announcement that Kayshon made. Rewind with me if you don't mind. Let's go about a year ago, really, to this time period. If you remember, Kayshon was in a headspace in a place where people were wondering whether or not he was going to be playing for Alabama next season. Right? Like that was the storyline of where we were with Kayshon. Like he was leaving. He was going to Bama. Bryce Young was texting with him. They were kind of like out there flirting in public. I mean, it was known. He wasn't denying it. It was what was happening with Kayshon, LSU, transfer portal stuff, and where he was a year ago. Skip ahead a couple of weeks, Brian Kelly is introduced to the media. He's finding his footing as
Literally
the new
off
LSU.
the plane.
Yeah, and he's finding, he's kind of getting his bearings to him in South Louisiana and LSU. And one of the first times he meets with the media, he calls out Kayshon, which at the time I remember saying, that's a ballsy move, right? I mean, like that's saying kind of like, hey, look, I'm drawing the line right here. And I'm saying, look, from this day on, this is how we're running it. And I don't care if you're Kayshon or I don't care if you're a walk-on. People are going to be held accountable. I mean, his quote about Kayshon during that time period was like, I don't ever see him.
Don't even know his name.
Yeah, I don't even know his name. It was like, whoa. Like, you're taking a guy that has been on the ropes and thinking about leaving and, is your best player, and publicly, that's your stance on him? I can't imagine what the private conversations, if any, had been had up to that point. I mean, if you would have told any of us at that moment in that time period that fast forward a year and Kayshon's going to announce that he's coming back for his senior season to LSU, I don't know what the odds would have been, but you could be jet set on some cool island right now, kicked up, because it would have been some really good odds on just whether or not that would happen. And the fact that within that year, because it's taken less than a year, you could see it taking shape really in fall camp, the relationship between Brian Kelly and Kayshon Boutte changing. I'll never forget, I went out, left the show one morning in July, went straight over to LSU's camp at 9 a.m. because Little J was over there, a part of 1,600 campers that were there at LSU's football camp under Brian Kelly. They got kids running around on the practice field like ants. It looks like they kicked over ant piles. They got so many kids running around out there.
Little J's out there tweeting.
Kayshon is walking around with a towel over his head and comes and not seeks me out. We're just kind of walking in the same direction. And you could tell, wants to tell me something, right? And as he's getting close to me, he's like, I'm coming back. I'm back. No, is what he's saying. I'm back. I'm back. And I'm like, I know, man. What you mean? He's like, no, I'm at 100%.
Yeah,
like,
didn't
I'm
he
ready.
come by and go,
I'm ready to
100%.
play. Yeah, he's like, I'm
He
ready to
whispered
play.
it in
I'm
his
100%.
ear.
And then remember the news kind of like started like,
Coming out, yeah.
trickling out like, hey, Kayshon's a player. And then the picture of him and Brian Kelly at the camp in the sun where they're kind of like goofing around, you know what I mean? They're like standing there and they like got arm in arm. And you're like, damn, I mean, in a short time period of the message being, I don't know who he is, to holding him around his neck and Kayshon telling everybody who will listen at this camp that I'm a playmaker again. I'm ready to be back. I'm at 100%. It's like, man, this is going to work out for this year. Like, he's going to blow up. You know what I mean? Like, he's going to get him involved. He's going to be his one of his centerpieces on offense. And Kayshon's going to the league. And for that announcement to come out yesterday, I think it tells the message of what Brian Kelly has built at LSU in a very short time period and the effect that it's had on, everybody, like all of us, everybody that's talking about it out in the community and out in public, to the media members that are covering it and talking about it. But inside the locker room, there's no better example that you could provide to anyone on the impact that Brian Kelly has had, other than, like, I would lead off the conversation with, Kayshon Booty's coming back. I mean, like, how's Brian Kelly fitting in? I mean, the more you listen to some of these national shows, the more they still kind of try to force the narrative of, is he a good fit? Do they like him down there? Is he going to fit in the South, where it's like, bro, I mean, like, catch up. Get over the accent stuff. Stop talking about the family stuff and stop talking about the fit. Like, that stuff's been decided a long time ago. He fits in perfectly. And if you want to know if he fits in the locker room with the team and the program, you need an example. Kayshon Boute's coming back would be my lead bullet point. That's it. Because if you want to see the evolution of Brian Kelly and the effect that he's had on the program, look no further than the public playout of him and his All-American. I mean, a year ago now, he's telling you, I don't know his name. I don't see him. That's when Kayshon came and sat right here a couple of weeks later, and we were all saying, he looks overweight. He doesn't look checked in. He doesn't look dialed in. That's what he said. I wanted to wear number 7. The deal had been done with Gordon. He was coming back, but you wondered, like, he had just had a second surgery. He wasn't playing ball. He wasn't working out. He wasn't training. He wasn't in it, right? He had gotten paid. He was who he was. I mean, he had the status. He was the best freshman wide receiver in America 3 years ago. He was an All-American last season. At that time in his life, he was that dude.
Everything's going to plan.
Right? And now to see that he's coming back for a senior season, I just think it's huge news, obviously, for the LSU offense. It's huge news for the quarterback room. It's huge news for Coach Hankton and the wide receivers. But I thought, outside of the obvious winners, the biggest winner of the day was Brian Kelly, because of the impact and the effect that he has had on the program in a very short time period. And a great example of that would be Kayshon Boutte returning to school for his senior season. A huge, huge win for LSU yesterday. There's not a wide receiver recruit on the board right now. And Kyle Caskey said this in a group text message last night that I thought was a very solid take. And Caskey will be here at 8:30 this morning breaking it all down with Caskey's Clicker. Each week brought to you by Citizens Bank and Trust. But he mentioned it, and I agree with him. There is not a recruit on the board. Jaylen Brown, Shelton Sampson Jr., all of them.
There's not a kid in the portal.
Not a kid out there in college football that's as talented and makes a bigger impact on the wide receiver room than Kayshon Boutte coming back. I mean,
he needs 52 catches to break the all-time catches.
Who has it?
Wendell Davis.
Wow.
He had 183. He'll need like 1,300-something yards to break the yards record. But I mean, if he gets 1,000 next year, he'll be third on the list.
Because this year didn't go the way he thought it would.
No
right?
way.
I feel like it was just a bunch of things coming together at once that was just a lot for everybody. And LSU found its footing. And the reason I'm saying that is because this announcement, LSU needed some good news in a little bit, like just in kind of some fashion. Like you lose 2 straight, you get dunked on by Georgia, who wants to hang 50 on you for just out of spite, and then like which way are we looking? We're playing Purdue in a bowl game, and then you turn up and you look Monday night and Kayshon says, "I'm coming back, BK takeover," and you're just like, okay,
wow,
we just needed one thing. You know, if you're an LSU fan, you just needed one positive to find. Because a lot of people, I mean, you're talking about quarterback controversy already. Like, you can't leave fans alone for this long, so they needed some good news. And Kayshon coming back is unbelievable news for LSU fan base because, I mean, they were talking to it's Garrett Nussmeier, Jaden Daniels, Walker Howard, where's Jack Besh going? And now it's, wait, is everybody coming back? Like, is this going to be the first domino for them trying to run it back? Because who's the first person to comment on Kayshon's post? Mekhi Gardner, a guy that we all had lockstep into the draft. And now he's like, let's run it back, get a ring. And, Coach, if you can get that kind of buy-in right now, it's the perfect time to get good news if you're an LSU fan. And if Kayshon's the guy that's going to step up, and this shows maturity to me in my mind, like of him being able to say, look, I could go to the draft. I could go show out at Pro Day. I could go show out at the Combine. But instead, he's taking a step back and realizing, wait, I have unfinished business here. We have a chance to do something extremely special at LSU. And if I can be the one to be the guy to say, hey, we're not going in early. Because he came here on this show and said, it's 3 years. He said he was leaving.
Yeah.
And instead, he walks it back, and BK gets him to come back. And let's see if Jaquelin Roy wants to come back. Mekhi Gardner wants to come back. Greg Brooks wants to come back. Like, this could be the first domino in a massive windfall for LSU football.
That's a good point. If you remember back to his interview here, the soundbite that really everybody jumped on wasn't the one of him claiming that he wanted to wear number 7. It was a message that he had to his recruiting class of guys like Mason Smith no, he was the year before that.
Mason Smith was
year after him. Yeah. Year after him. It was like Jaquelin Roy, B.J. Ojulari.
He was pitching 3 years.
He was pitching very much like, hey, we got to get here, get in, and get out. But that was what everybody, he was kind of like deemed as like a selfish guy after that. You know, like he's just worried about what he's going to do, what he's going to get. And I think, you know, again, you can see all these examples of just in the last year of maturing, you know, and a new regime, a new message, a new, you know, messenger in Brian Kelly and the way that it's impacted Kayshon. I think that when it's all said and done and Kayshon coming back and, you know, look, we had the head coach from Westgate come on over the, you know, before the season started. And he said Kayshon's the best player that's ever come out of that community. And that's a community that's put out guys like Jared Mitchell, like Mark Roman. Like they've put out pros, right, at everywhere. And I know that I don't want to get into names because I'll leave 100 out. But he says that Kayshon is the best to come out of that community. When you talk to people in South Acadiana and that part of the state, they say Kayshon has been the most dominant player on every field he's been on since he's been 5, 6, 7 years old, right? I saw him play at Westgate. They compared him to Jamar Chase in high school, the type of high school player he was. He was always open. Anytime you threw it to him, he'd catch it. Anytime he was one-on-one, he was going to beat him. He was probably going to beat 2-on-1. And he would score when it just looked like there was no chance for him to get out of the pack. He'd come sprinting out of the pack with the ball running away from everybody. He gets to LSU. He's the best freshman wide receiver in the country. The last 6 games of the season, it's not even close. He looks like maybe the best wide receiver in the country at that point. His sophomore pace that he started on, he was scoring every 4th time he touched the football on a terrible team. a horribly coached team, a horrible team inside the locker room, a team that was dealing with turmoil every single day, every single week. Kayshon was the bright and shining light every single Saturday that we looked forward to, because when he touched it, good things happened. And everybody in the building knew where the ball was going, right? Like, every defensive coordinator was putting all of their pressure on Kayshon to try and take him out of the game. Before he got hurt against Kentucky, he was the best, maybe the best player in the country last season up to that point. If he wasn't, he was in the discussion of it. So my point is, every year he's played sports. Every year he's competed. Every year he's played football. He has been the most dominant player on the field at every level he has played. All of that data says that. One outlying year coming off of an injury where he had 2 surgeries on his ankle as a wide receiver. I'm not making excuses for him, but has seen enough to give him a grace period to say, look, that's not him. And if he can still make that play like he did against Georgia, which is what I have been questioning all season long about him, because that was what was so electric about him the first 2 years in college football. He'd catch a slant route, he'd catch a crossing route, he'd catch an out route, and he'd turn it into 60 yards. I mean, he was running away from people where it made him look like he was just better than everybody. And this part of, this year, you didn't see that. You just didn't see him making that play where he just looked dominant to everyone. And then he did it on Saturday. Like I don't know if that was a time machine. I don't know if that was just playing on the carpet. I don't know if he was just juiced and amped, but he did it. And he did it against the best defense in college football. And he ran 65 yards on them like they were standing still. And if he can still do that, and he's still got that ability with 1 year checked in, my dude's checked in. I mean, like that post on Instagram, he's not sitting out of the bowl.
He said, I'm locked in.
He's not sitting out of the offseason. So if he stays healthy, and I hope to God he stays healthy.
Purdue about to get this work.
Not even Purdue. Next college football season, I think, is in big trouble with Kayshon, because last year, think about it, he had no offseason. He had no spring. He got thrust into it in fall camp, and he looked like him at times, but he never caught his legs, it felt like, this season. He takes a crossing route, a dig route against Georgia in the SEC title game, 60, and looked very old school Kayshon. If that's who he is going into the offseason, and a offseason of training with Flint and the nutritionist and working with the quarterbacks, man, I mean, come on, man. I mean, the majority of his life, he's been the best player on the field. 1 year after 2 surgeries on his ankle, it took him a little time to catch up. But at the end of the year, he's making plays like that, where he's high-stepping through Georgia's defense. I mean,
untouched.
Beautiful.
Gorgeous.
Beautiful.
Like,
it was art.
Yeah.
It was art. It was art. I mean, it was
porn. More porn than art.
Yes.
You know when you see it.
I mean,
Elvis
porn is
on.
art.
Especially
Follow me.
at 7.
You know what I
Watching
mean?
him
Like,
run
I mean, it
towards
just,
you, I'm
the
gonna
catch. I mean, the way he kind of like caught it, did kind of get pinned up against his visor, but I mean, like the way he just kind of like transitioned, running to the sideline to get up the field. And like Georgia's defense
it's like he hit that.
is a conversion
that
on him,
gear.
and like it is just, man.
He hit that extra gear that we ain't seen in a while.
In a minute.
Let me get in that left lane.
Like that looks very UCLA.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
put
like
that foot in the ground
Ole
and
Miss
he's
his
gone.
freshman year. Like, I mean, just
We ain't gonna catch him. Coach.
wow, he's different. I mean, if he's that dude, and now you got Shelton Sampson coming into that room. Now you got man, and I don't mean to. Help me out,
Parker?
chat. Parker from Texas.
Kyle
Kyle Parker
Parker.
is a dog. Is a dog.
Kayshawn just
Coming
ate
in. I mean,
up
Kai
so much
Prean.
ground in no time
Kai
at all.
Kai Preon is a player.
They got 4.
Jalen Brown from Miami. And then
4
you've got
dogs.
the guys in that room already.
Not even mentioning Malik.
Yeah, and talking about what about Brian Thomas? I would think that if there was a breakout player, if you're asking me for a breakout player next year, one of my first names would be Brian Thomas. Like, I would think that if Kayshon leaves, he would be wide receiver 1. I don't even know if Kayshon coming back if he's still not wide receiver 1 next year.
Do you think that they promised Kayshawn maybe a little different?
I don't think you can promise anybody in that room anything.
No, I'm saying like because Stewie and I were talking about this before we did the watch party a couple of weeks ago. It's like they kind of moved him to the slot. I don't know if he's totally comfortable there. Yeah. So I don't know if he's coming back to be able to say, look, put me outside again. He's obviously bought in. Whatever the coach is going to like ask him to do, he's going to do. But I wonder if they have more of a plan.
I think you can use him like Justin Jefferson.
Yeah,
I think you can move him all over the place. I really do. I mean,
maybe
especially with LSU's what they put out there. You cannot you can't double anybody.
Hell no.
So I mean, you can use him almost as like the, like kind of like the trinket. Yeah, I mean, like the toy. Where you can create these matchups. Like, who's the worst defender out there? Okay, let's isolate Kayshon and put him on him because all this attention is going to be on Malik Neighbors, going to be on Brian Thomas. I mean,
Mason Taylor's going to get a little respect next year.
Absolutely, Mason Taylor will have respect next season. What if John Emery comes back?
Oh, Jesus. Get ready. Get ready.
I mean, what if Chris Hilton's ready to bust out?
Finally healthy.
Coach, this receiver room is
the more you talk it out, the more was stuff that, and look, I know that the message boards were going wild last week on Jack Besh.
Oh God.
On the transfer portal stuff, and
just let him get to St. Patrick's Day. He'll be happy.
I would be shocked if that was true. But the more you talk it out, you throw these names up there. I mean, like they're all. I mean, like you take 4, I'll take 4, you take 4, you take the other 4, and we're all winning. You know what I mean? Like that's the best wide receiver room in the country, huh?
Gotta be.
I mean, besides Ohio State.
But, I mean, maybe next year.
Yeah, I mean, Ohio State has a couple guys coming back. But besides Ohio State.
But they lose Harrison and Njigba, right?
Harrison's
a sophomore.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
And they have.
I didn't talk to his daddy.
And they have the number 1 receiver coming in, Brandon Ennis.
Shelton Sampson, coach, turned on his playoff tape.
Oh, coach,
he took games over. I mean, like, to take a game over at a wide receiver, that's when you know somebody is just
good.
Special.
No, special, man. Like I mean, yes, throw it up. I mean, he's pointing. Like, just,
put it out there.
Just throw it up. They got 3 on you. Throw it up.
Yeah.
I mean,
I'm about to show you I'm better than everybody here.
Malik against Georgia. Got 2 on you, coach. Throw it up.
And that's what's going to be my next point, or next question for you, I guess is a better way to put it, is what is LSU going to do in the quarterback room? Because I feel like, especially going into the bowl game, Kayshon's probably playing in the bowl, healthy, coming back. No reason he wouldn't. Jaden, a dog, wants to play, but it feels like what's best for him is to not play in the bowl game. Then you give Nussmeier another shot, and if it looks like it did in the second half of Georgia where he threw for the second most yards in a half of football in LSU history,
and there's yards to be had against Purdue.
Oh,
which they are.
I'm catching some.
They could look like video game
They're
out
watching
there.
that Georgia tape.
I mean, if Nussmeier if he looks like he did in the second half, I mean, it'll be like Madden out there.
It'd be like
stop throwing it so hard.
It'd probably be like LSU Miami, like in 03 or what was that 05 when they beat them.
Yeah, they kicked their ass in the tunnel with a fight. And then they beat them on the field. They curb stomped them on the field.
Joe Adai just took it over. I'm quitting.
Dwayne Bowe.
Ron Landry there.
Yeah, Dwayne Bowe.
Just killing.
Kept his helmet on. Just
smart.
Mauling people. Mauling. Because I mean, like he grew up with all those dudes from Miami.
Yeah, it started off as a joke.
Yeah,
didn't it?
he
Like
stole
he was
a football
taking the
from
ball.
the sideline.
And then they wanted to fight.
Give me my ball, man.
And then he was like walking with the ball like to the into the locker room, and like it happened in the tunnel.
Like,
Jacob Hester tells the story. He's like, Coach, he's like, it is the scariest scene I have ever seen in football. I mean, it was like just. I mean, think about LSU's roster in 05.
I mean, look at that guy behind you.
I mean,
I don't want to fight him at all.
LeBron don't even know what's going on, but I got these two things.
it was.
I'm coming with him.
Yeah. And that's what Jared Mitchell pointed out last night, which I thought was good. It's like, who was the best returner to come back for their senior year? He's like, LeBron had no business coming back, and he came back his senior year.
I mean, that we were talking about that this morning. Kayshon's the biggest name to come back to LSU since Trey White.
Yeah.
I would put Trey White. Kendall Beckwith was a big guy that came back. But, I mean, Trey White would have been a first-round pick. Or if he wouldn't have been a first-round, he would have been in the discussion.
He's like in Kayshon territory now.
He's kind of right where Kayshon is now, kind of like a bubble guy. You know, like, I mean, damn, if you can see him do that, what he did against Georgia, he's got to be back in the discussion, right? Then you know when you get him on testing grounds, whether it's at the Combine or at a pro day, you know he's just going to be like, oh, my God.
40-inch vert.
Same thing that Trey White did to him. You know, I mean,
he comes back. Trey, I'm sorry, Les did that to you. He comes back, and he's the only person to score a point against Wisconsin in the first game back. And he's like, I'm going to just do it myself, I guess. Y'all were tossed out. God damn it. You're a liar, Les. And make me come back for this bullshit.
God. Les is...
But this feels totally opposite of that.
Yeah, I mean, because LSU went through such a period in such a time where people were going pro that had no business going pro. I mean, guys were leaving to be fifth, sixth, seventh, undrafted guys.
I'm just going.
Malachi Dupree was one. I mean, like Sam Montgomery left one year where you were like, "What are you doing, man?
Why are you doing this?"
You know, I mean, it was
Jalen Collins.
Yeah. Jalen Collins was another one, but you know, I mean, he's one that like Les was like trying to bag back. He was the one that told the story on his podcast that Les blackballed him, tried to blackball him.
He told a story the other day on his podcast about
Sam Montgomery
getting knocked out.
Oh yeah, before the season.
Yeah.
By some dude from the hood, wasn't it?
There's a basketball player on the team.
Was it basketball?
Yeah.
Basketball?
He's like, who fought Sam Montgomery?
Like, he said he was like going around the corner. He was a freshman. And Mettenberger was coming from around the corner.
Sprinting.
No.
And he was like,
don't go that way.
Mettenberger was like, don't go over there. And he said he went anyway. And Sam Montgomery's out there, his jaw hanging, just beating people up.
It's like Sonic Sam and the other coach goes, oh, I bet he was knocking people out. He goes, no, coach, he caught one, broke his jaw. And he's like, who hit Sam? He's like, I don't know, somebody on the basketball team. It's like, LSU that's when I was in school. I was like, it was a wild time to be at LSU.
It was wild.
It was like, this is a free for all, dude. Where's Les?
He's on floor 3.
George Jefferson's got some new shoes. It's like, those are team shoes. Like, how is this a conversation?
Remember, Daily, we're brought to you by Katie's Restaurant down in New Orleans. Katie's Restaurant. You can find them on Iberville Street. Remember, their sister restaurant, Francesca's, downtown. Great sandwich shop if you want to check them out. Katie'sInMidCity.com. Katie'sInMidCity.com. If you want to go get personality of the city, if you're looking for a New Orleans neighborhood bar and restaurant, then you got to go sit down at Katie's in Mid-City. I tell you every day, I know for a fact they will be packed today. Every single day at lunch. If you want a cool vibe, get a feel of the city, and a great menu. I got the pizza, the Bradbird. Check out the pizza. The thin slice
Michael Jordan
pizza.
So I ate the pizza.
Katie'sInMidCity.com. Katie'sInMidCity.com. Hour 2, we're going to talk to Kyle Caskey. Looking forward to Caskey getting here and breaking down some of LSU. We'll look back at
Coach. Look at him. Look, he's look, get out of here. Boom, and puts it in drive. I mean, we're getting it back. That's set.
Kayshon. So we will talk to Kyle Caskey and get a recap of LSU's offense. We'll talk a little bit about getting Kayshon back and what that means, obviously, for the wide receiver room. But it is scary to think about what the weapons will look like at LSU next season with the return of the All-American Kayshon Boutte. And as we said, huge win for all of the program, the teammates, quarterbacks, wide receivers, offense, but an enormous W yesterday for Brian Kelly. That is a heck of a message to be selling here on the trail, going into recruits' home and talking to moms about, relationship with players and coaches and what's it like over there, and if they can pick up the phone and call Kayshon Booty and have him explain on why he's coming back. And obviously it's a huge part of Brian Kelly and the program he's building. future is super, super bright at LSU right now. Other news yesterday that started to filter around that has been shot down was Ed Ogeron being a finalist for the UNLV job.
It's a
Could
pipe
you
dream.
imagine?
Who do you think
Dude.
floated that out there?
Good Lord.
Jesus.
When I saw that, I thought, please,
Oh my
God,
please do it.
make this happen.
Like,
Make this happen. Ogeron yesterday, reports were flying around. This was the little Prince Panamsky somewhere in some cubicle, somewhere in America, firing off text messages and press releases to his old press buddies, his old media buddies, trying to make sure his guy, Ed Ogeron, stays relevant, I guess, within the coaching circles, which I wouldn't get. If Ogeron personally went back and coached football, there's no way I would believe or buy in that he gave a damn $17 million later. You know what I mean? And if we want to take that formula and put it on the Vegas Strip, my guy
well, I want to talk to
is going to die at a show, right? I mean, like, he is going, let me show you my favorite show, baby.
Just imagine him running up and down the Vegas Strip
Oh,
shirtless.
dude. He'd be like,
jogging.
he would be like Elvis in the 70s in Vegas. I mean,
full of
just
shit?
the king, yes. I mean,
Larry the Lobster.
I want it all. I want it all.
What's this NIL money y'all talking about?
He might not even make it to the season.
No. Shot.
He would, he'd have a heart attack.
He's trying to coach on Saturday and Sunday. He's like, I'm still up. I'm here. Y'all need me for 12?
What about the Raiders? Could they use me? I'll fit the Raiders great, huh?
Lane Kiffin, get him back.
I can still coach D-line now.
I mean, there would be no better marriage. I mean, it would be like Tarkanian at UNLV. I mean, it would just be like
Bite the towel.
There's no better guy you
Rebels
could have
coach.
gotten to coach the running Rebs at UNLV
Oh, we're running.
than Jerry Tarkanian. I mean, like, with Dion getting the gig at Colorado, people are just, like, thinking outside the box, and Panamsky's like, hell, let's see if we can't get in the UNLV job.
Oh, Coach is thinking
Yeah,
inside the
right.
box, I assure you.
Feldman had to come on and be like, look, man,
Look,
this is not true. This is not true.
Panamsky almost pulled off a miracle. He threw it deep, Coach. He let one rip. They're like,
Hey, Coach, you mind if I throw this Hail Mary?
yes.
Go ahead, Derek.
Well, I'm getting a job.
I'm going to try to get you the Raiders job. Oh, I'm in.
Because there's no world where he, like, certainly not next year, but there's no way he, like, I don't think he
No
ever
way.
coaches again.
No chance.
It was.
I mean, unless it's a ploy to sell tickets. Unless you are a place that,
XFL.
Yeah. I don't even know if they would do that at the XFL.
That's like actual professional
I mean,
coaches.
look, man, and look, I'm not here, but there was so much disrespect in that locker room between the players and specifically the head coach in Ogeron and, really Derek Panamsky because of the way that they had isolated themselves from everybody else. I mean, we've talked to enough coaches on that staff now and enough players that were in that locker room that it was just the last year and a half of Ogeron was, I mean, sincerely, it was a reality show. I mean, they couldn't get meetings. They were late for meetings. People weren't showing up on time. They weren't where they were. Just nothing
You
was.
couldn't spin that thing if you wanted to.
No way. There's no way. I mean, and anybody that they would call for a a recommendation at this point. I mean, there's nobody that would put their name on the line
Oh, that tiger.
for what was going on at that time. And the fact that he's got $17 million in the bank would be,
Vegas.
come on, like,
Oh God.
there's no way. There's no way he's going to go head to head with.
Financial advisor in
I mean,
shambles.
oh,
Like,
dude, this
God.
guy.
Talking to Daniel Newman.
Send him another 100,000.
Wire it now. Fuck.
Coach shows transactions at the ATM at 5:50 in the morning. Are you winning or losing? I don't know.
John
Who you paying
LeDoux. John LeDoux, new Netflix documentary From the Bayou to the Strip.
That would be great.
Devin Stein, the Bo Pelini stories of him riding in on two wheels late to meetings never gets old.
It's so true.
It is, man. Here comes fucking Bo.
Shit, I'm late.
Derek, you tell Pelini I'm gonna fucking kill him.
We running cover 2. What you need me here for? I'm running man the whole time against Mississippi State. We're gonna give up 800 yards.
I don't care.
I don't care. Y'all been to Geno's? Fire.
It's like Mike
the
McDaniel.
heartburn.
I'm gonna throw every play this drive.
Yeah.
It was a debacle.
But what a star turn for LSU. Like, that's where we were 2 years ago, and now to have Brian Kelly and you get Kayshon back because you put it in the message, the BK takeover. Like, this thing's real. What he's building is a culture here, and it's when you look at it from, like you like to say, like a 5,000-foot view. Even when us being as close as we were to the LSU program, like, this is bad. And then to be able to look fast forward almost, I guess, 2 years, 1 year, and look at it now, and you're just like, how quickly Brian Kelly, it was in such shambles, and all it needed, we just needed a dad.
Yeah.
And then he comes in and it's like, bro, y'all have the formula, just y'all are putting all the ingredients in the wrong places. Like, y'all know how to make a cake, but y'all stop baking.
Especially like somebody from Brian Kelly's perspective coming down and looking at LSU, he was like, y'all have all of this? Like,
how are y'all losing?
I've been trying to win in middle America, in the middle of Indiana, selling some stupid message about tradition up there. They won't let me get kids in because of the grades and the academics. And y'all got all this? Like, what?
Let me show you how to do
We're about to start winning a lot.
Oh, the kids don't have to live on campus?
Yeah, right.
You had to live here for 3 years. They're not midwives.
It doesn't matter what they made on the ACT?
Not at all.
Holy shit. Like, what are we doing?
I'd love to take Kayshon, didn't get a 35.
Right. I mean, Coach, it doesn't matter. He's an NFL football player. He's not going to be a doctor.
He's majoring in football.
You know what I mean? Like, he's going to make a lot of money on Sundays. I can tell you that. They've been telling you that since he's been 14. Like, take him. Take his 3 years. And now he's coming back for a fourth?
Get
You
his
know, I mean, like,
doctorate.
that is a huge win for LSU. All right, the Carpool Queen is here. We will reset, come back for the second hour. We will talk to Kyle Caskey, as Caskey will be here, a part of Caskey's Clicker. Don't forget about our friends over at Barker Brothers Plumbing and Works. Get in touch with Jude and the crew today. Remember, no social media, no website on Barker Brothers Plumbing and Works. Only way to get in touch with it is by calling the boss. Call Jude now, 225-776-2431, 225-776-2431. They can help you out with any of your plumbing needs. They are number one and a number two business over at Barker Brothers Plumbing and Works. Huge Tulane fan as well as Jude B.
Big golf guy.
He's rolling the wave right now. They are busing from Plaquemine down to Ullman Stadium to go celebrate an American Athletic Conference, and Willie Fritz staying on at Tulane. Barker Brothers Plumbing and Works doing a lot of good work for everybody in South Louisiana. Doesn't matter if you're over here in Baton Rouge. They got a couple of trucks every single day working this side of the river. Give them a call, 225-776-2431. You can save money by listening to the show. If you mention the Culotta Show, you'll save 15%. So make sure and tell Jude and the crew that you heard it right here on the Jordy Culotta Show. Call them today. Barker Brothers Plumbing and Works. Hour 2 coming back with you. Jordy Culotta Show, driven and powered by Go Chevrolet.
Looking to book a dumpster but no idea how? We've made it quick and easy for you. Check out our website at moralesrolloffs.com. Let Morales Roll-Offs know your desired delivery date, and finally, provide your contact details. To make payment, look out for an email invoice with all your booking details. On delivery day, our driver will notify you through text and email that your dumpster is ready and on the way. Now you know how easy and convenient it is. Call Morales Roll-Offs at 225-427-0000 for your dumpster.
Hey Baton Rouge, when traveling through Natchez, Mississippi, whether you need to fill up your vehicle or your belly, stop by Go-Mart and On The Go Deli. Go-Mart has clean restrooms, community coffee, an awesome beer cave, and a great selection of anything you might need on your trip. So stop by Go-Mart at 4 Sergeant Prentice Drive as you're entering Natchez on the left, and visit Tom and Wright Granning and their awesome team at Go-Mart.
Don't let the name fool you. Men's Total Health has offerings for the ladies, too. Guys, is your wife or partner suffering from urinary incontinence, low sexual desire, or pain during sex? Then the O shot might be for her. Don't let it scare you. It's totally natural. It's PRP, and Mike Roach and the crew at Men's Total Health will make you as comfortable as you can be. Contact me for more information, Katie at JordyCulottaShow.com, and I'm happy to tell you everything that Men's Total Health has to offer for the ladies.
Southern Eyes. Looking to book a dumpster but no idea how? We've made it quick and easy for you. Check out our website at moralesrolloffs.com. Let Morales Roll-Offs know your desired delivery date, and finally, provide your contact details. To make payment, look out for an email invoice with all your booking details. On delivery day, our driver will notify you through text and email that your dumpster is ready and on the way. Now you know how easy and convenient it is. Call Morales Roll-Offs at 225-427-0000 for your dumpster.
We're all from different places and backgrounds. We've each experienced our own versions of life, but in the end, we're all on the same team. I'm part of that team, along with these players in purple and gold.
Kayshon Boutte,
Malik Neighbors,
Miles Frazier,
Kyron Lacey, Greg Brooks. Whether on the field or in the courtroom, your team matters.
So join our team. Make a difference.
Bet. Let's get it done.
Hey Baton Rouge, when traveling through Natchez, Mississippi, whether you need to fill up your vehicle or your belly, stop by Go-Mart and On The Go Deli. Go-Mart has clean restrooms, community coffee, an awesome beer cave, and a great selection of anything you might need on your trip. So stop by Go-Mart at 4 Sergeant Prentice Drive as you're entering Natchez on the left, and visit Tom and Wright Granning and their awesome team at Go-Mart.
In a wreck, Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys is ready to go to work for you. Come meet your team.
I'm your intake specialist. I coordinate your case and connect you with your attorney and paralegal.
That's us, your legal team.
Thanks. And we'll fight to get you every dollar you deserve.
I'm your settlements and disbursement manager, and I'm here to get you paid on time.
I'm attorney Gordon McKernan. Put our team to work today. Just call us. Get it done.
Welcome back to the Jordy Culotta Show, driven and powered by Ghost Chevrolet, live here on this Tuesday. Speaking of Tuesdays, Hold the Rope Tuesday, every Tuesday here, 6 o'clock. Coach Skip Burtman and Dan Canterbury and their crew get together for Hold the Rope. Lloyd, master producer.
See you next Tuesday.
Is that what they say?
Yeah.
See you next Tuesday.
See you next Tuesday.
He said, your guy, he's finally catching on. He's doing a good job.
No sandwiches for you this week. Maybe.
Oh no, Lloyd, not that one.
Yeah, see, I didn't think I could win with a guy like Lloyd, but it turns out he might be a player, coach. He might be. This is the best I got. He's like, well, I don't know what kind of team you got then.
Ronnie Rance was great with them last week, but
the best.
They were great. But hold the rope. It is a great show. Got some cool plans for them come baseball season, which is creeping up on them. I mean, dude, their guest list is unbelievable,
That's their
man.
guest for next week?
Their
No,
guest
it's tonight.
today is the Miami Athletics Director, Dan Radakovich.
Really?
Yeah, he was the assistant AD for Skip, like, I think, 04, 05, 06, and then he got the Clemson job. Mm-hmm. And then he hired Dabo Sweeney at Clemson, and off they went like a rocket ship. And he's a Miami native. I believe he went to the University of Miami.
In the heyday.
And they brought him back just to hire Mario Cristobal. Good move, $85 million later.
Y'all found Coach O's brother.
Exactly.
His cousin.
Exactly.
His straightened cousin.
Let's bring home Mario. Yeah, do that. That'll work.
Dan, I don't know if that's what you want to do.
But Radakovich is going to be with him today. That'll be a great conversation with Hold the Rope. So make sure and check that out. Subscribe and like, share, and make sure that you have liked, shared our post here. And if you don't mind, if you have not subscribed to
what the hell are you doing?
What are you doing? I'm sharing this
to the
thing
channel
all the time to people.
Make sure you subscribe.
What are you talking about?
What are you all dressed up for? Everybody's wondering what you're dressed up for.
I'm sharing this thing with everybody all the time.
I do. People ask me all the time.
The show, Lloyd.
The show. Oh, the show.
One comment. Can y'all let one comment go?
I didn't even get that though.
Yeah,
that
nerds.
went over my head even because I was so focused on the task at hand, which was getting subscribers.
Oh, you were focused on all the Mississippi State players in the transfer portal.
Isn't everyone in the transfer portal?
Not LSU.
No, not LSU. We lost only one.
Philip Webb.
For now.
We don't know that guy.
Who? Yeah, right.
Best of luck, Webb.
Katie, get it out of the way. Why are you dressed up? People are curious.
Oh, I'm just going to the fast break luncheon today for women's basketball.
Oh, wow. Who's the guest speaker?
Are you trying to
Does Mulkey let anybody else speak?
Yeah,
right. Get her out of there. I'll be handling this.
That is the guest speaker.
You gave somebody a fast break this morning.
Oh.
What did you say?
You gave somebody a fast break this morning. Hey, gotta go to the bathroom. Katie just walked in.
Lock the door.
We have women's tickets, right? Women's basketball tickets?
I do have women's
When's the next
basketball
game?
tickets. I don't know. That's a good question.
You'll find out today.
They were at.
Don't be
Tulane
showing out
Sunday.
too much like that. Kim Mulkey's gonna get jealous. She's gonna ask who your stylist is.
Oh yeah.
You know, you gotta let the queen be the queen
I'm not
now.
really a queen of sparkles gal. I'll leave it to old Kim with all the sequins. That's her
Now you're
deal.
taking shots at her.
No, not at all. No,
love
Queen of
Kim
Sparkles
Mulkey.
is the brand
Oh.
of like the blazers sequin stuff that she wears.
Y'all should do a little NIL deal together.
Maybe we should.
So we talked a lot about LSU
I'd watch.
and Kayshon, obviously, in the first part of the show. And Kayshon coming back, huge news for LSU as they begin to prepare for the Citrus Bowl. That will be over in Orlando on January 2nd.
Anyone going?
Versus Purdue.
No, you're not.
I am not.
You'll be on your honeymoon.
I thought about it, but I mean, I don't know.
no.
Like, it's not really much to do in Orlando.
Yeah, like, unless you're a Disney
Take your
kid.
kids
Yeah,
to
like I could
Disney
go
or-
to Disney, but like
Yeah.
I'm not.
Yeah,
trying
once
to
you leave the
practice.
park, bro.
Like my kid's been to Disney like 7 times.
Oh
and
my
he's
Really?
God, really?
Yes.
Stewie.
Okay, then
He
you
goes
know.
Nice
like
dad
every year.
flex right there.
Like,
It
I mean,
is.
his mom's family takes him like every year.
Oh, okay.
So
Oh,
Then
dude,
the truth
you
comes
get
out.
both. Yeah, you don't even have to go, and he still is like,
he still
And
enjoys himself.
have you not been?
No, I've been
Okay.
multiple times,
Yeah,
but it's just like,
The fast pass is the only way to go.
yeah, right. And like
Have
at
you
this
been?
point, I'm like,
I've been one time. I went with Will Wade and the basketball team.
y'all got a fast pass together?
Is that the only time you've been?
That's the only time I've
Oh
been.
yeah.
Yeah.
You're
fast
missing
pass
a
is the
lot.
way to go, though, Coach.
It's
Yeah,
the
you
only
have
way
to
to
do
go.
Gotta
Fast
have it.
pass.
Like
It's the only way
The
to go.
people that just stand in line
I don't
for like
get-
hours
Oh,
to
no
ride
way.
a
How?
ride that lasts like 30 seconds.
Unreal.
It
I'm
really
out.
is.
It's called Tigerland.
I went with Charles Harvey for Metropolitan Health Group.
Did y'all ride a ride together?
Oh, we rode the
teacups?
I mean, how am I forgetting this? The
Tower of
no,
Terror.
the
Mountain,
movie
Splash
that's coming out.
Mountain.
James Cameron.
Avatar.
Avatar. We rode the
Oh.
Avatar 3D Right. I mean, like,
what planet
swinging,
were you on?
You know what I mean? Like, legs not touching the ground. Like, in the, me and Charles Harvey just circling.
This visual.
Back, I mean, like, would get off, go again. Get off, go again. Fast passing it, dude. Just skipping everybody.
Well, that was kind of fun.
But Charles Harvey, like, looking at these people standing in line, like, what the fuck are you thinking, bro? Like, what time did you get up to get here? Just like yatting, just New Orleans, just yatting these people. I mean, like, these people are like sitting down, like camped up against this guardrail. Like, I mean, like,
it's hot as
we're
shit
looking
there.
at them just like
It
total
is.
snobs, you know, like, how could you?
I know.
Like, how
It's weird.
could you?
No, it is for real.
Like, the mental strain of saying, I'm getting up and standing in a snake line today that could go maybe
2
a
hours,
mile,
2.5.
Yeah.
maybe a mile and a half,
Like 2 hours.
and just
To do what?
to do it for
30
35,
seconds?
45
30
seconds.
seconds
maybe?
on Thunder Mountain, and that's all you get.
See, that's why I don't go to
The
Disney.
letdown.
Oh,
Disneyland is the way to go.
is that
Perfect
in,
climate, right
Oh,
outside of
California.
LA.
Yeah,
You
I've
do
been
it like in 1 or 2 days.
I've been to that one.
everything.
but I've never
Anaheim.
been to Disney
that
World.
one's
Okay.
more of like a theme park.
Yeah.
It's
Like,
the
that's a
best.
legit,
It has
like-
all the real rides.
Yeah, like
all
you could
in
go
one
ride a
place.
Ferris wheel.
Well, no, it has real rides.
No, I know
They
it
do
is, but
have that
it's
big
like
Ferris
but it's
wheel,
you
yeah.
know, like you don't have to stand in the line.
No, you don't.
Right? I mean, when you get into Orlando's Disney World, you are in a line.
It's some freaks too.
This is like, this is like the territory. Where
Who's
I'm
the
out.
NFL player that lives at? Or no, I think
Russell
it's-
Wilson?
No, I think it's Brooke Lopez.
Oh God.
Oh, it is. I've
Lives
seen him with
where?
I think
the ears.
Brooke Lopez lives on
What is up with
Disney's
Disney
campus.
people?
Yes.
What's up with that?
Yes.
I don't know.
People
don't
just
know,
love
man.
Disney, bro.
That
There are
might-
some people that totally
It's a
freak
cult.
out
It is a
It
cult.
is.
about Disney.
It's
There was
cold.
one person on the trip with us on that trip with the basketball team to with Will Wade, which, by the way, if you didn't catch it, Will Wade debut podcast yesterday. I thought it was fantastic.
I don't
if
know
you were
if
worried-
he needs any of us there.
If you were worried about him being shy, if you were worried about him not talking about, I mean, like, they just pitching him softballs.
You were like, he's not going to talk about LSU. First thing I click on, he's talking about LSU.
Yeah, but I don't think he's going to go in
Well,
depth on their roster and
Yeah.
talking about decisions and stuff like that. But yes, I mean, like that I agree. That kind of surprised me. But he's always going to kind of go back to his experiences, which kind of suits all of us best because he's going to tell stories about his time at LSU. And he's, look, it was cool, but he told the story about taking his team to Orlando his second year, and they got blown out by Oklahoma State on Sunday, the day that we left. But we were with somebody was on that trip with us, thank God, that was a Disney fanatic. Fanatic.
So they can tell you everything you
So
need
they
to
could
do.
tell us everything, really, more importantly, what not to do
Yeah.
is the more important
Yeah.
Eat the corn dogs.
information that you need
Don't eat the hot dogs.
when
either.
you go in there, because there was a lot of traps.
Yeah.
Lot of traps.
There are.
And there are just a ton of suckers.
Yeah, there are.
Like, the amount, you know what I mean? And I'm not claiming that I would not have been one.
Yeah.
But
The
just
amount
with
of
a
money
little
they
bit
get out of
of
you.
knowledge and then just common sense, really, after that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But
Did y'all
there
wear
are a lot
matching
of.
shirts like with mouse
We
ears
did
on
not.
them and your
We did
name?
not.
Charles
I
and Jordy?
didn't see. Like, I didn't know that was like the
It's a
stuff
thing.
that
That's
you
the
would
place.
see.
Yeah. Like
Was
families
just-
dress alike.
It's
Oh.
gotta be the biggest tourist
Trap.
place. Like,
Absolutely.
it's definitely a trap, but like cameras around the neck,
Mm-hmm.
tube socks pulled all the way
all
up,
the way, like
cargo shorts
to the knees.
Yes.
with a Disney shirt and
Yeah.
maybe like a Mickey ear on top.
With like some mountain
Just
shoes. on.
everybody
Yeah,
looking
exactly.
like they are from Middle America.
Oh,
You know what I
it's
mean?
depressing.
I love my wife.
I
first
mean,
time
I
they've
was like
seen
in
the
an
sun.
LSU
I know.
warm up with Jordans on, and people were like,
What do you think? You're cool or something?
"What is that?"
Well, and it's so expensive. Like you
It's-
could go like to Europe with your family
Oh, no doubt.
for what you could do like on a really nice Disney vacay. It's insane.
Lanois says, Randy Lanois, great with concierge service, better than the Fast Pass.
Oh.
Oh.
Well, that's like a different level though, right? That's like
Hey,
someone taking
and I'm
you
willing to go to
around.
that level.
Yeah.
Same.
I guess so if you're gonna do it.
I would never stand in a line at Disney. I know that sounds like a snob, and I'm sorry,
I'm
but
with you.
I'm going to be honest, and I'm just not going to do it. It's a lot like watching a football game in a suite or a basketball game in a suite. Once you have that experience and you go back to, general admission, it's tough. It's a tough
It
watch. And I know that sounds snobby, and I used to be a diehard Inter Bowl, Tiger Stadium, scream at the top of your lungs,
Throw the
dude.
water
I
bottle
see
when
you
we
over there
score.
fighting the fight, Lloyd.
I still am. Oh,
I know you are.
I am,
and I appreciate your fight.
You have to do it.
Have you experienced a game from the Suites yet?
I did one half of, I think, a UAB.
Okay, so not a big game, but you were able to.
I didn't even go to the student section whenever I was in school. The section is our section. I was born and raised there. That's where we sit.
That's what
I appreciate that.
And he still goes back to it.
And I have my son there, my LSU son that I have on Saturdays.
Yeah.
So
he's always boots on the ground.
Boots on the ground.
I
Coach.
appreciate that, and I appreciate that
Thank
fight.
you.
I fight the good fight.
Rob Boudreaux, Jordy, do you drink your tea with your pink up too?
Pinky up.
With your pinky up too.
I mean, my pinky's up. It's
I
not
know
tea.
it sounds like that, Rob, and I don't, but I'm just being honest.
Some things.
I'm just being honest.
Get that Disney
man.
picture I sent you on your
It's
phone?
just a totally different game when you have that experience.
It is.
Of air conditioning.
Yes, it is. I don't want to go back to the bowl. David wants to go back to the bowl, though.
I sent it to you too, Jordy. I got a Disney picture. It's not me, but it's what it looks like. I sent it to you too.
It does look like Disney.
Remember, Daily,
He might be in Orlando.
we are brought to you by City Cafe. No doubt he's going. CityCafeBR.net. CityCafeBR.net. Online is where you can find them. Remember, great lunch specials over there every single day. Go see Squeaky, Cody, and the crew. Make sure you told them that you heard it here on the Jordy Culotta Show, as they've got a great Sunday brunch, too, over at City Cafe, where good friends meet, where good friends go to eat. Over 100 years in business. City Cafe, CityCafeBR.net, CityCafeBR.net. Rob Boudreaux, I'm messing with you, Jay. So, no, I get it, man. And I've set myself up for that one because that is a very,
Disney.
You don't have to
the
apologize
Disney.
for that, though.
No, because the Disney crowd is weird.
Yeah, you're stepping into you're in A&M
stand by that
territory.
take.
Or to be a snob about where you're sitting or what line you're standing in. No apologies.
Yeah. Nick Richard, I've ruined my son with the Stadium Club. I have too.
Same.
I have too.
They never want to go back. Only David wants to go back.
I have too.
Wait, I have a funny
Y'all
story.
go into the stadium, sit your ass in the seats, get your Cracker Jacks
Hey,
like
man,
Major
but
League. The owner still
the
sits in the
suites,
To go stand in line at a concession stand and then walk
You're not
all
worried
the way
about the
back up
concession
the
stand line.
steps.
It's the bathroom line to get
Yeah,
into the
that
stalls that
too.
sucks.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it really does.
Absolutely.
All of it.
All of it. I love
terrible.
it there. It's too many, all the good people.
I know.
It's the salt of
I
the earth
know.
LSU fan that will tell you, no matter who you are, their take on LSU football. As soon as the whistle blows and it goes to commercial, everybody has a thought. And I'm like, I love these people. I love it here.
My greatest experiences in Tiger Stadium come Inter Bowl.
I was born in the darkness.
Absolutely, dude.
Not leaving here.
It's
No doubt
not
about
fun in the club and suites. I mean, you don't get any.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
when I say you don't get those stories. Like the people in our bowl seats around us,
you get
it's the
the-
same guy screaming "Take your hat off" every time the national anthem is sung. It's the same woman singing opera voice, like the LSU alma mater song, in an opera voice, and we make fun of that. It's like the same people.
Oh,
And
The
they're
student
fun,
section's the same
though.
too.
Yeah.
There's a
Well,
girl
y'all
that-
got parents and kids in the student section now.
Couple games. Bama, it was not like that. It was just
No,
packed.
y'all don't even want the smoke.
It was just packed. Everybody just
Here.
stand up.
Yeah.
Find
Standing
a
room
spot.
only. But that's what I don't even know what to compare it to because I've only been up there once, but it's not the same. It's a totally different experience.
There's no atmosphere. And what happens to it is
when you're up
that
there,
when you close the door off from the playing
field,
you
lose sight of the game.
You lose all. It becomes a social party.
Right.
It becomes. That's all it is. It becomes. I mean, the hardest
I'm
thing.
fighting for my goddamn life.
The hardest thing to do
I'm
in
up there
that.
drinking frosé.
The hardest thing to do in that
drinking
setting
whiskey
is to
for
watch
my
the game.
shoe. Yes,
I mean,
exactly. That's what happened to me.
The hardest thing to do in that setting is to watch the game.
That's true.
And if you go there to watch the game, but many people up there don't use it as a game watching experience. A lot of people use it for a social experience.
It's like a networking thing. Mikey was telling me how he whenever he goes to the suites, he's like, oh, I had to go to this one and this one and this. Did you watch a play?
No.
Like,
and look,
we're here for a football game. Damn it!
There's a lot of time. There's a lot of business that gets done on a Saturday night in Tiger Stadium at that level, and probably in the bowl level too. I mean, but you can see when you're up there that
it's different.
It's more networking. Not everywhere, but you see it. for sure. I mean, there's definitely still.
I'm out there drinking tequila out of water bottle.
Right, and that's the experience, man.
She's drinking frozen. I got whiskey out my crotch.
I think
exactly
hot as hell.
Like I took this water bottle out of my pants
from 8 hours ago
when we got in here, and I'm just
9 a.m.
Tack Miner is FaceTiming me.
Oh,
should answer it
for the third time in the last 10 minutes.
Something's happening. Hold on, Denver.
I've been there, Lloyd, though.
I'm live on the air right now, so don't say anything stupid.
Tell Denver to come home.
But I see your smiling face. Can I say something publicly? Do I need to take a break? No. Yeah, you got to take a break. We'll be right back with more of the Jordy Culotta Show, driven and powered by Go Chevrolet.
Don't say anything stupid.
Donaldsonville Glass and Body, the trusted name in frame, body, and automotive paint repair since 1977. They have served their customers for over 45 years. You can find them online at dgbauto.com or stop in and see them Railroad Avenue and Division Street out in Donaldsonville, Louisiana. Look, they can help you with your insurance claims. They can make the repair process as stress-free as possible. I'm speaking from experience here. I've got numerous windshields, body repair, all done by Kenny and the crew over at Donaldsonville Glass and Body. They are, without question, the most well-equipped shop in the area. Stop in and see them today. Shop them online, dgbauto.com, or stop in and see the crew over in Division Street in Donaldsonville, Louisiana. Donaldsonville Glass and Body. Hey fellas, it's Jordy Culotta for my friends over at Men's Total Health. Guys, do you suffer from fatigue, decreased libido, erectile dysfunction, weight gain or loss of muscle mass, signs of depression, anxiety, hair loss, mental fog, general loss of interest? Then you might be suffering from low testosterone. Go see my friend Mike Roach and his great team over at Men's Total Health over in Metairie at menstotalhealth.net online. And stop in and see how they can change your life today. A simple shot and some knowledge from Mike Roach can get you back up, moving with your energy, get your sex drive back, build your muscle mass, make you feel young again. All online, menstotalhealth.net. Red Stick Sports, a local staple in Baton Rouge to all sports fans, was founded back in 1981 and has remained a family business for over 40 years. Today, they still have the great selection on the floor, but they're also a leader in custom apparel for businesses, sports teams, and other groups. Take it from us, everybody over here at FM Digital Media. They help us out with all of our apparel. Let them help you out today. Go ask for Cody over at Red Stick Sports. Check him out online at redsticksports.biz. I was embarrassed about my smile. Are you unhappy at yours? Do you not smile back at yourself? I called my friend, Dr. Spillers, over at Johnson Spillers. He fixed my smile, and now everywhere I go, people are complimenting it after the work that Dr. Spillers and the staff did to my mouth. They can do it to yours. Get in touch with them. JohnsonSpillers.com. 2 locations, one in Gonzales, one in Baton Rouge. Easy to find them, JohnsonSpillers.com. Are you looking for sound financial advice? Then get in touch with Daniel Newman of Edward Jones. You can call him today at 225-261-8262 or email him daniel.newman@edwardjones.com. If you're planning for retirement, saving for college, for children or grandchildren, or just looking for sound investment opportunities, get in touch with Daniel today, 225-261-8262, located on Magnolia Square Drive in Central. Daniel Newman of Edward Jones.
Hi, this is Dan Canterbury. Join myself and the legend, Coach Skip Burtman, for Hold the Rope Tuesday nights on YouTube. You can go to @HoldTheRope, Skip and Cano. Skip, tell them what we do.
We've got a lot of education. We've got some people that can tell you a lot about a lot of things. In the area of sports, we have a lot of entertainment. We got a lot of energy putting this in. I think you'll like it.
So join us for Hold the Rope.
Oh, but not. Back here, the Jordy Culotta Show, driven and powered by Go Chevrolet. Remember online at Chevrolet.com. All right, no news to report. Nothing here. Nothing to see here. Nothing to see here. Keep
What
it
a
moving.
tease.
Keep it moving. Keep it moving.
Smile and
Keep it
wave,
moving.
boys.
Get the face on right now. We'll be right back.
That's right.
Drive that car as fast as you can on the interstate.
But we should be finding out something soon here with transfer portal news for everyone, right? I don't think the transfer portal stuff is meant to last a long time.
I think Caskey's
You know what I mean?
here.
You're not trying to get in there and, you know,
Diddle-daddle.
it's not the recruiting process. You're probably going in with a plan. You got an idea. Now, there's a lot of stories that we don't talk about guys that go into the portal that doesn't work out. Like they don't end up getting a scholarship or a place anywhere else.
You step in shit?
There he is.
Oh,
Yeah.
shit.
Check your shit.
Aight?
You stepped in something.
I'm surprised he didn't step into the portal with
What
all the guys from A&M.
what film were you watching? What you got on your leg?
That did for Harris film?
Still watching that A&M game, huh? Speaking of, there's our coach, Kyle Caskey, as he will be here in a couple of minutes. We'll be breaking down a lot to look at. We're going to talk to him about Kayshon. As we said, he had a good take last night in the text group about Kayshon being look, he's the biggest recruit on the board. Really, I mean, there's not going to be a better player that LSU can bring in this class. There's not going to be a better player they can find in the portal. There's not going to be a better player that they can recruit into the program than the news they got yesterday. So we'll talk to Caskey about how Kayshon affects LSU's offense, and did he think he could still make that play that he made last Saturday against Georgia, where he catches a simple 12-yard crossing route and he turns the jets on and runs away from the best defense in college football. I'd imagine a lot of pro scouts looked at that and said, "Wow, I didn't know he could still do that." And for him to do it against that team on that stage in that moment, I thought was probably an eye-opening experience for a lot of people on Kayshon Boutte on what he can still do. So we'll get a coach's breakdown of it here in a couple of minutes. The Saints are bad. I guess we can ask Caskey about what's going on there, but that was about as bad as a loss that you can take in the NFL. I mean, to hold the lead for 57 minutes like the Saints did last night against Tom Brady and have a 2-score lead with over 3 minutes remaining.
It's almost
in the
impossible
game.
to lose.
It is.
That's sad.
It is. It's
But
tough
were
to
y'all
do.
surprised?
Watching him drive that
Yes.
last drive with
Really?
Ron,
Yes.
he was just like so
It's
hurt.
happening.
He's like, bro, I see this like we're about to lose.
Yeah,
this.
no doubt. This is
He's
about to happen. It's like
he's
it's like holding water. He's like, this
is gonna come out my hands.
I can't hold it. I can't do
It's
this.
the raccoon that puts the cotton candy in the water to wash it off. Have you ever seen that video?
No.
Raccoons obviously clean their food before they eat it. And he has a piece of cotton candy and he puts it in the water and it just disappears. And he's like, "Oh, what happened? Where did it go? What happened?" And that's what it felt like yesterday. If there's anything to take away from that, obviously Saints are now DEAD dead, right? Like
I think
they had a chance to win the
0.6% chance of making the playoffs.
And if you're a Tampa Bay Buccaneers fan, that's the Tom Brady awakening, right?
It is.
If you're the NFL, you're kind of on notice that, oh God, he's back. Like he's Undertaker hand out in the grave.
Well, I mean, he lost his kids for this shit.
Yeah.
But I mean, look,
I ain't going out like
the
this.
Saints ain't no good.
No.
So I don't know if a Saints win for Brady means that he's back.
They won the
I don't
division,
think
but
it
he's
does.
going to
No,
be
I
in
know,
the playoffs
but he gets
and then
in.
playoff
Yeah,
Tom.
he gets in for sure.
Count
all right,
him out.
we will we'll talk about all of that with Caskey next. Just give us a short break. We'll be real quick here, 30 seconds. Turn over the set, get him in here, and start breaking down some video. Kyle Caskey, Caskey's Clicker, presented by Citizens Bank. Next here on the Jordy Culotta Show. Play it during the football game. Boosie, I want Webby.
Right.
I want NBA YoungBoy. I mean, like, play the
Play the people that are from the city.
Right.
I mean, play the people that are
Give me
from
that neck.
Louisiana. Absolutely. I mean, I think that's the best part about the Dome, really, is that they embrace New Orleans. And look what happens. I mean, you got Mark Ingram and Alvin Kamara dancing on the sidelines with one another. You show it to the stand. You show it to the in-game crowd, and people lose their mind. I mean, they want to blow the roof off the Dome when they play that stuff.
Yeah, they do.
And they're playing well. You know what I mean? Like, it makes so much sense to play that entire stadium. I mean, play the Louisiana artists in Tiger Stadium. Made it fun.
I don't know. I think just the fact that we knew we were going to get them. Like,
that is fun.
Yeah. I've always been able to recruit players. I've always been able to get players. You talked about SMU. We signed the highest rated recruiting class in program history last year. Wow. In the only year that I was there. At Vanderbilt, we signed 4 top 100 kids, and we finished last in the SEC, for 2 years leading up to that. So recruiting players, that's never been an issue. It's always been, I always wanted to recruit the top end players. Yeah. And here I get a chance to do that. Anytime you work for Kim Mulkey, you're going to be able to recruit the top players in the nation.
I'm not sitting here today thinking that they got an impossible shot.
Yeah,
do they have an unlikely and difficult road to get there? Yes. But one thing that we can all confirm about that committee, about the playoff committee, I've got no idea what they're talking about. I got no idea what the prerequisites are. I've got no idea what they need to see to put you in the field. I can guarantee all of them love Bama. Yeah. They all freak out over Alabama because they correlate Alabama to television ratings. Mm-hmm. They think in that room that if it comes close and it gets close, we might as well just put them in because everybody's going to watch.
It is going to be close.
And that's the difficulty here of running this thing with human beings making the decisions, because at the end of it, it's all going to come back to the money, the advertising dollar, and how they can get the most of it. And they know a field that features Alabama is a more popular field than any other one that does not include them that exists, right? Like, you can make the 4th team Ohio State. You can make the 4th team Tennessee. You can make the 4th team whoever the hell you want to make it. If it's not Bama, the suits don't feel like the college football mass crowd, the most college football crowd will show up. And that's ultimately what they care about. All right, welcome back here to the Jordy Culotta Show, driven and powered by Go Chevrolet, live here on this Tuesday edition. Make sure to hit that like button, share button, comment button. Also, make sure you subscribe to Caskey's Clicker, growing audience over there on YouTube for good highlights and breaking down film. My guy is the best in the business, man. You can tell because everybody's copying him. Everywhere I look, everybody's trying to create their Caskey Clicker.
See all 22 all over
It's
the place.
amazing when you start something how many people just fall in line behind you. It's awesome to be ahead of the snake, though. All right, Coach, what did we hey, real quick, we talked about a comment that you made last night in the text chain, which I thought was it was dead on when Kayshon Boutte announced he was returning for his senior season. There's not a recruit. There's not a guy in the transfer portal. There's nobody that can make an impact on LSU's team like Kayshon can. What do you make of that news, and what does it mean for him to come back?
I think the reason I said what I said was because not only are you getting your best player, technically, really, he is your best player, and you're getting your best player back. So, yeah, that's better than any recruit you're going to get out there. You're not going to get a transfer. You're not going to get a freshman. But the biggest thing about it is think about the Florida State game, and everybody said, this guy's checked out. Even Brian Kelly's like, I don't see you. I don't, And all of a sudden, something happened to where your best player, who really, honestly, may be a first-round draft pick, says, you know what? I love it here. I'm staying. I want to win for this team. Like, that says something about what's going on in that building. It says something for Brian Kelly, for the staff, and it says something about the players and themselves, because you got to think, how many times have y'all sat in here and I mean, I've heard y'all talk about especially coming into this year, about I don't know what the core of this team is. What is it? Who is the leader of this team? What are we doing? And all of a sudden, here's Kayshon. He just made himself the leader.
Did you still believe he could make that play that he made last week? Catch a simple crossing route and take it to the house?
Yeah, I think we all knew he could, but it was like, why haven't you been doing it, or why have you not been given the chance to do it? And when actually I've got that play coming up, I think in the big version of this, but they actually ran. Somebody messed up. There was two of the same route running right there. There was a guy behind him, might have been Mason Taylor or somebody running almost the same route behind him. So somehow or another, there was a little mix-up right there. So when he actually caught that, there were like two extra dudes in the area, because they shouldn't have been. That route should have been going somewhere else and taken not only the tight end but the other defender out. And the fact that when he turned that corner and took off, I remember going. I had no doubt, because I couldn't. On the broadcast, you can't see if like there's still a deep safety.
Right.
I was like, if there's not a deep safety,
he's scoring.
He's scoring, and he was still 5 yards probably behind the deepest guys, and he just, it was that C2 split 2 mentality. I was like, all right, this dude's, back. I mean, I thought right then that my thought actually right then was the exact opposite of what happened.
Me too.
I was like, he's gone.
Yeah, me too.
We'll see you later, bro.
Me too, man.
Good way to end it.
I was like, that was his play right there.
And the other thing too, that made it 7-7, I believe. Right. That wasn't like it was.
And that was after the scoop and score.
Yeah, that wasn't a garbage time.
Yeah.
That was a get me back in the game play.
Yeah, I agree, man. I thought that the moment meant something too on where that was in the game.
No doubt.
What do you anticipate with this quarterback room? You got a guy coming in Collins. You got a guy there in Walker Howard who's a 5-star and was the best quarterback to come out of Louisiana in a long time last year. And then obviously Garrett Nussmeier does what he does on Saturday. And then there's an opportunity for Jaden Daniels to go or leave. What do you expect with this room?
I think with Jaden Daniels, just from my experience of watching the draft with quarterbacks, I don't know how high he's going to go right this second, because you really got. I know he has his Arizona film, but you really only have 1 year of like high level play, and you want to. And it was inconsistent, obviously. We all know that. So like, if he really wants to up his stock in the draft, I'd say come back. That would be my advice to him. Would be, hey, come back. You're already the starter. Just keep it. If you're giving a starting spot to a quarterback just because he's a 5-star or whatever the case is, because you promised him something, that's not a winning mentality. Winning coaches play the best players, and that's where a lot of these coaches falter, is they promise these kids to play, but their best players aren't playing. So if Jaden Daniels comes back, he might win. Who knows? But everybody looks at Garrett Nussmeier from the other day, and I've got a pretty good breakdown of his stuff. He had nothing to lose in that game.
Right,
he had nothing to lose, so he was gunslinging it, and that's the way we looked at him, as a gunslinger. I loved how he played. Don't get me wrong. I thought he played lights out. But there's a couple of times where one of his touchdowns, I'm just telling you, 9 times out of 10, it's a pick. The one down the right sideline.
Yeah.
And then the one he threw down.
The safety wasn't looking, right?
He
didn't know he had that arm.
He kind of jumped up on him a little bit.
He was looking at it. He thought he had it.
He broke way too soon. And I will say this about Atlanta. That scoreboard and stuff up there, that might be the hardest place to look up and see a ball. Like in pregame when they're punting and stuff and kicking off, and you're standing back there watching them come down. Like when it goes up through that scoreboard, it is a little different. So he might have just misjudged it. But the second, the one he threw, the pick he threw down the other right sideline, should never thrown that ball, because that safety was already like
in there.
Well, really, like one of the first ones he threw right over the middle, that crossing.
Yeah.
I mean, that guy, it hit that guy in the
And
in the hands.
Yeah, it's just. But again, he was. That's what you're going to get from him.
He giveth and taketh away.
But you're also going to get that play
Sure.
at the very end where he should have been sacked and he does the burrow and rolls
flicks
out of
the
there.
wrist and hits Jeray Jenkins.
But yeah, so I think, and again, I don't know as much about Walker Howard and Ricky Collins. I don't know as much about them just from I know who they are, I know what they've done, but I think right now you got put it this way, you got a good problem.
Yeah, yeah, you do. Yeah.
You'd rather have that problem than the other problem.
For sure, absolutely. And LSU has had the other problem for a long time. Yeah, it's weird to be on this side.
Same with the running back room. I think you've got a good problem there.
Uh-huh.
You in the receiver room, you got a good problem. I think in the offensive line room, you got a good problem. Tight end room, you got a good problem. Now it's just you may piss some people off and they're not playing. Who knows? They may train. So I would rather have that problem than not have the guys in the middle.
I agree with that. All right, let's get to it. Caskey's Clicker each week presented by Citizens Bank and Trust, breaking down LSU SEC Championship versus Georgia. All right, Coach, take it away.
All right, I don't want to bring up the bad stuff first, but I want to rip the Band-Aid off real quick. So as we look at the what happened here, obviously you got a guy breaking through right in the middle, which obviously is not what you want to happen. You don't ever.
Oh, perfect. Yeah, no, let it go to black.
Yeah, you don't ever want that to happen. But if you watch the way, see how that those guys. You got 3 guys on 2 right there, and that's tough, especially in the middle right there. So you've got to make sure you get your head inside. You want to be beaten on the outside, not the inside, obviously for these kind of things. But again, I want everybody to pay attention to these red shirts running off. Even him, he's trying to run off. They didn't know. Okay, this is so on these plays. If you were just say you're punting the ball right here,
I'm somewhere up there on the left.
If you punted the ball right now and it went over the line of scrimmage, it's in the offense and say the punting team touches it. What is it? It's down, right? Mm-hmm. So if the other team picks it up and runs with it, it's live and they can run. But as long as it's just rolling around over there, when it comes to a dead stop with nobody around it, then they always blow it down. That's why you always see on punts, you see like eight of the punt team, they all get around it to make sure nobody comes and picks it up.
Have you ever seen this play?
I've seen, obviously the closest I can think of is the kick 6, but that was the one
you fielded it. Game. Yeah, Odell did that, I guess.
Yeah, when because you got to think he just caught a punt,
right?
And you saw him running back. It's the same thought process. Now, the Leon Lett thing, Leon Lett was on the defense, I believe, when he went and slid, right?
Leon Lett was
the Cowboys.
Yeah, he was the defending team.
He was the defending team. So when he went
when he touched it, it was live. It was a fumble.
It wasn't live, but when he went and kicked it in the snow, it became live.
And
that's where
Leon let it go.
So that's what happened there. And I know when we were on the live stream, I was like, man, I got and I was like, it's like a punt. That's what I kept telling you. I was like, it's like a punt. And I thought, I'm like, the way this guy, but watch how this guy crouches over this thing, like he's like.
He's looking at LSU
side.
Hold on.
Am I?
Are we good?
Now I've got a.
No one knew.
I do want to show you that they had a great angle. I randomly caught after this, but again, I just want to show you this. This is how close these games are, man. I mean, like that ball. It's kind of hard to see, but that ball's kind of right in that area right there. But I mean, the fact that that probably hit his fingertips,
right?
And that'd be a 3-0 game. If it was, 6 inches higher. And, I can't really blame the kicker necessarily.
Bad snap, too.
But, again, watch the red shirts running off. And I'm going to make this point because I'm going to show you this next angle. And all the red shirts are running off. Now, I want you to watch this. This is an amazing angle that CBS had.
Oh, wow.
Oh, no.
They're all walking off. You got guys that have already run off. You got these two dudes, like, going, hey, great block.
Why didn't they know?
Look how bad that looks.
That's a fireable offense.
That is as bad as I didn't know it was like that. Wow, Coach, can you replay that one more time?
So that is an amazing. They actually, just so y'all know, and I want to throw this out there. This is not the all 22. This was actually on television. Okay, I did not get this
seriously, man. Jeez,
Did
stop it right there. Like that should be the thumbnail today.
That's
I mean, like.
What do you think happened on this play?
That is amazing.
Who's the one guy
Coach,
that tries to
nobody has a clue.
Ellie Gay's the only one?
Yeah, and Will Campbell looked like
Nobody
started
has a
running
clue.
through.
I mean,
Why? That's
they're
my
they're
question.
reacting.
Why don't they know?
They have not been
They
told.
should
They've
know.
not been taught. They don't.
They should know.
So-
Because
Yeah.
that's
That's what I
like
was thinking. Shouldn't
normal
they have known?
football.
Shouldn't
Like
they
everybody
coach?
knows.
Where's the blame fall on that?
I think the blame falls on multiple shoulders. I think it does fall, like Brian Kelly said, it falls on me, and I do believe that the head coach. One good thing I believe that we did with Matt Patricia from the Patriot way stuff we were doing in Detroit was we went through when I tell you we went through every situation was covered between the time we started phase 1 in the spring all the way through training camp. So by the time you actually played a real game, everything that you could think of, even like, I promise you that bouncing off the helmet thing would have been addressed in some form or fashion. You know, the slider stuff when you've got 13 seconds and it's 16 seconds and you can throw it, slide and spike it. Okay, you can get it in 13, but really you need 16 or whatever it is. So those things were all covered. That was I remember those things being covered. You know, the whole don't line up on the snapper. That was like an entire 30-minute dissertation about why and different, how close can you get? What happens if the umpire comes and bumps you over? All this kind of stuff.
Well, why didn't he know to grab the ball? Like, why did he wait for so long and look around and
Well, I think what he was doing.
Is he waiting on a whistle?
I think he was confused as well. I honestly, if you really asked the guy and you got a real answer, he was kind of looking like,
can I do this?
They're running off.
Should I do this? 'Cause his whole thing, I
exactly
think,
what he
was
doing.
he didn't want to get a penalty for illegal touching. I'm assuming, or something. I don't know what he was thinking, but
And that's where I think some of the blame I want to blame Polian more than anybody, but you could even see Georgia's special teams coach going, "Don't touch it, don't touch it." Then he just go.
That was the other thing is they showed the coaches later. I didn't get that part. They showed the coaches in the booth doing this, and it was like the no. Yeah. I mean, literally, it was the no. Yeah. You could read.
I guess you can go.
Yeah. And that's where I think they've got to. I can promise you this. As long as Brian Kelly is a coach, you will never see that happen again.
Oh, man.
I would imagine.
As long as
I'd
he's a
imagine
coach.
that there's a lot of coaches around the country that have probably picked up that film and said, fellas.
There's no doubt.
Because we haven't covered this.
It's covered now.
Does everybody know that this is a live football?
Y'all think Ohio State, TCU, Michigan are all covering that right now? They're all covering that.
Even
Y'all
Georgia.
Not seen this happen before? This?
No.
Not with that much confusion. I've said, like I said, the kick six and with Auburn, Alabama that one year where they caught it it was a 109-yard return where he caught it right under the goal.
They just had all linemen on the field.
But that's what. But again, that's why you do that, because think about it. It becomes kickoff return against offensive linemen.
Yeah. Well, that was what Odell explained against UAB when he was like, I knew once I made the cut
I got
that
flow
I was
going
running
one
against
way.
a bunch of linemen.
You got a bunch of 300-pounders out there trying to chase you down.
Right.
What would the penalty have been if he was worried he was going to get a
No,
penalty? if he
there is no
touched it?
penalty. There's no penalty. It just would become live at that point. And he was just, I don't know why he was doing that. I guess because everybody else was running off the field. He's like, oh.
Can I steal
But
this?
all he's thinking about is, there's the ball. Like,
Right.
you could see him thinking.
I hadn't heard the whistle.
You could see him think. You could read his mind right there. He's like, he
I mean,
looks
look at
down,
all
he
that
looks down,
gra-
he
look at
looks
all that
over,
green.
Looks down again. He's like, I got it. I don't care. I'm going.
Well, and this is, I think, the simplest explanation of it. If you're a coach, and this is why you can kind of blame Polian if you want to. Look, we were all a little confused when it happened, but play to the whistle.
That was the biggest thing I said to you was I've always taught guys, say you're a running back or a receiver or something, and you get a swing pass thrown to you, and you don't know if it's a forward pass or backwards pass because it's right down the line.
Right,
but you don't catch it.
Yeah.
Don't
React.
assume that it's incomplete. Go get on it. The defensive players are always told the same thing. If the ball's ever on the ground, go get on it. Don't assume that or if it's a fumble and you thought he was down, go get on it, because if you put it in the official's hands, you're going to lose every time.
Definitely.
You're going to lose every time. And that's what I always told those guys was you play till the official has the ball in his hand. Until somebody tosses the ball to an official, you play. And I don't know. That was my view on that. Now again, you got to remember this. There's a lot of things that affected this game. I would say that was probably the biggest thing, but they still won by 20 20 points or whatever it was. So I mean, there was a lot of other things that happened. I mean, I'm not sure that would have swung it, but I'll tell you what. If you're up 3-0 instead of down 7-0,
it's a 10-point swing.
It's a 10-point swing, and then who knows what happens at that point. I mean, obviously the game would totally be different. You know, the plays that I'm about to talk about probably don't happen. You know, I mean, there's a lot of different things. So moving on, because I know I don't want to keep y'all till 9:15 like last time. You know, y'all can only take so much of us in the morning, right? All right, so
hourly rate.
Jaden Daniels, I liked what they did because remember, Jaden Daniels was hurt in this game. And what they were doing early in the game is they were just running quick game, and I loved it. I thought it was great. And again, even the pass to Kayshon was just an easy shallow cross or crosser route. But if you watch right here, these are just double slants at the bottom, right here. And right now, it's simple. You just read it inside out. You throw it here, and it's real simple. And right there, it's a first down. It's simple stuff. It doesn't force Jaden Daniels to have to do anything out of the ordinary. But if you watch it, it's just a simple double slant, and you find the window right there, and it's simple. And I thought that was good. That was not trying to make Jaden Daniels do too much early in the game. This one right here, I heard y'all yesterday or the day before, I guess it had been yesterday, talking about y'all have never seen a interception bounce off a helmet.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I have either. And I can tell you this much. If y'all tried to recreate this 100 times,
No way.
you wouldn't do it.
No way.
If I gave you 100 more times to actually have this happen again, the way it happened,
I couldn't do it.
Can you throw that ball?
And here's what this is. All this is an RPO. So if you watch, they're blocking here an RPO. They actually bring what this is called like the NCAA blitz, a nickel Mike blitz. So it's just
No air in it.
So really, that's exactly what you want to do on this play. You're looking. You see, he's reading here. All of a sudden, these guys come here. Screw that. I'm throwing to this dude that's standing right there. Well,
Safety broke on that perfect.
He did, but look, the ball's hitting his hands right here. Usually, what happens when the ball's thrown that hard and it just nicks your hands? Usually, it kind of falls that way, right? No, this ball is just gonna like trickle down.
I mean, give me a break.
And again, my point is this: the play design and everything. So people are gonna go, oh well, Jaden Daniels threw an interception. Well, the play design was good. It's an RPO. It's a run. He's gonna pop over here. It's a run. And he's just running that little quick, hey, I'm hot, basically.
Mm-hmm.
And
he sees him lurking.
You know, I'm hot, and, hey, I'm going to throw it to him. Yeah, that was one of my points on that thing I showed last week about the safeties and how athletic they were. You knew they were going to break on it, but, again, it's a little bit thrown there. But, again, when the ball's thrown that hard, that ball's thrown hard.
Mm-hmm.
You think that ball would go this way. Watch how just lightly this ball bounces. I mean,
my God.
And it bounced off the other guy. It not only bounced off his helmet, I think it bounced off the other guy.
It did bounce off the other dude's hand.
Yeah. And you here,
Great
looks like
tackle
it bounced
by
off his face.
But bounce.
Doink.
You couldn't do that 100 times out of 100 if you tried to do that.
I mean, look at the shape of this thing. I mean, like it's not supposed to bounce like that. I mean, like it's.
I mean, right there, it hits perfectly on the side of the ball on his helmet. Again, this guy knocks it back up in the air, right to his guy. So. You know, I'm not trying to. I don't want to like make too big of a deal about it. But again,
just insane.
Y'all, I heard. I think Jordy, you said yesterday. You know, football gods, Alabama doesn't need the help, or somebody said that. You know, it's like, I'm sorry, Georgia doesn't need the help. So you used to say,
yeah.
You know, they're red. Right. It's all the same. But you know, they don't need the help. Right. You give them that, and you give them the
scoop
and score. I mean,
coach, that's 2 scores right there.
Yeah. So here's Nussmeier, and I've got a couple clips of him, and I want to show this. This is the one that he throws into. It's a cover 2 look. So as you look here, he's really going to end up running down the sideline. They're playing cover 2. You got 2 guys covering him. So his job is to stay over on top of the route. His job is to basically, if nothing else is there, he then comes and doubles him and stays underneath. So if you watch it. See how he's trailing him, and if you look right here, you really got a guy under, and this guy should be playing more on that angle right there. But this guy, this is the same guy, 24. I know it's kind of blurry there the way I paused it, but that's 24. That's the guy that made that crazy interception against Oregon.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the one where he jumped back and caught it. Well, now, great throw by the way, but I just want to point this out is if you watch where if this guy just played a little bit further back, number one, maybe he makes maybe he still makes the catch, but he makes a tackle. but that ball is right over the fingertips of him. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think I got one more view of this from the right here. Watch this. I mean, you don't get any closer than that. That looks like, I mean, some of the stuff that was happening to LSU last week with Muhammad. You remember all those crazy? Like, I was like, man, coverage great, but I will say that guy broke too soon on the cover two. So hell of a play that got him. I mean, really, honestly, that kind of got him back going.
Georgia really liked that cover too, huh?
Yeah, but they play.
Is that their like base coverage?
I think it's more like a quarters coverage, but when they know you've got speed, like LSU had Neighbors, you're gonna drop him a little bit. You're gonna go into a two shell.
By the cover two.
You don't want them running deep because there's Neighbors obviously is unbelievably fast. Another one of his big throws that I'll show later, he was against a cover two look or kind of a quarters-ish look, but they had two guys and Neighbors just ran right past them both. So looking at this one here, this is the interception that Nussmeier threw. And this is just going to be one of those inside go routes. This is what Muhammad was running against LSU last week, which is I love the route. What you can't really see is there's a safety sitting just a little bit deeper off the screen, right about the hash. To throw this right here, you got to make sure you either look this guy off to make him, so you, as your eyes, you got to look this way to get this safety to fall this way to throw that route. But right now, he drops back and he's just kind of, I mean, he's like staring that down, and he chunks this thing up. Oof. And you see that safety that was just lurking right there. And that's really what, I said a little while ago that you had a guy over the top and a guy underneath. Well, this was, I'd watched the All-22. I'm not using it, but I did watch it because I wanted to see what happened on this play. That's what happened. This was a single safety defense, and he ended up playing over the top because he saw his eyes. But that's what that cover two should have looked like a little while ago. Mm-hmm. And that safety played it correctly this time. But again, that's a tough deal. And you can see right here, he ran way over there. And
he just took a chance.
Yeah. And
he knew where he was throwing that ball when he
exactly. Yeah, he turn and run.
And then I want to make the point here is you see when he catches the ball, how it's actually in the field of play. The reason that they, a lot of times they'll say, no, that's I can't remember because I think for some reason I feel like they gave the ball on the 1 yard line on this one, but that really should be a touchback, and the reason is your momentum's taking you into the end zone.
Should have been a safety.
I know from LSU's perspective. All right, so a few things I got on Georgia. What was the one thing about Georgia's O-line I said in my big show last time? What about their O-line?
Tackles. It's about the tackles.
Well, it's about how they punish you. They finish.
They finish the run.
So I want you to watch what this offensive line.
We talked about it on the live stream.
-2, Courtney.
No, I don't think so. Watch him. Here we go.
So he breaks through. So he's still up. I want you to watch the rest of this crew. Oof. The rest of this crew just come in here and that to me is. I just want to make a point of. That pile right there, after a while, especially when you're getting pushed back, it does take its toll on you.
Oh, yeah.
And that's where Georgia can't, because they were up, they could run more. And if you look, just the punishing, it's those big bodies just coming in and just, piling on top of you.
Taking your will.
Excuse me. So I thought this was great. This happened twice. He beat this Ali Gay. And we talk about guys who kind of get forgotten in there. He's right here. He's actually going to beat this tackle underneath and make this play. There was another play that I have later that he's a little bit wider. He beats the tight end underneath and makes a play. And, I mean, this to me is I think it's underrated. I think these guys are that guy, Ojulari, those guys kind of get lost in the mix a little bit. But they made some really, really good plays in this game. Now, this happened twice. This is a duo play. So everybody's blocking. They're all double teaming back there, and right there, I could draw it better from the end zone. And he's going to run down in here. He's really reading this linebacker. If this linebacker goes here, he'll go here. If this linebacker goes here, he goes here. But the biggest thing that happens is if your force player from the outside over here, your outside edge defender, jumps inside, then you go outside and bounce it outside. It happened twice. And if you watch this, I believe I've got the end zone of this too. But there's a guy behind the subscribe button right here. You see how he jumped inside right there? He jumped all the way in. This guy should be sitting right out here. You've got guys in these gaps inside, but this guy's sitting outside out here. And if you see it from the end zone right here, when he jumps in here, so you've got a guy playing this gap right here. This guy technically should be playing. So he could have, if this guy would have stayed out here, he would have hit it in there. But watch, when that guy jumps in there, he jumps outside, and that's where that happened twice in this game, and that to me is a bad fit. I can guarantee you that that's getting addressed going forward, because that play they're running right there is straight up caveman football. You're blocking downhill. I do want, now this is my last play for this morning for this part. This is B.J. Ojolari, and again, everybody talks about Perkins and all this stuff. I don't want people to forget about him. This is a halfback screen with all these guys blocking. I want you to watch B.J. Ojolari make the play on this.
Wow.
That's pretty unbelievable for a guy to be playing the defensive end position right here. And you've got 4 dudes right here. Even the tackle's coming to block him. You got all these guys, and they're trying to get the edge. And he said, screw this. Get off me, tackle. And made the play. So what I'm saying is don't forget about those guys too, because, I mean, and that's what I got there. Stewie, you can kick me off for that. But I thought overall, I mean, if you want to talk about, guys that played well, that should have played well, Kayshon played well. I thought Jaden Daniels played as good as he could, but the mistakes, there's too many little things that just, you don't start a game the way you started that with a scoop and score and then the helmet interception.
Then he got picked up like a trophy.
I love
Oh
that.
no, I've actually got that. I've got
thought
that
that was nice.
Yeah, I thought he was protecting him. Was he not?
No,
he was toying with him.
I liked it. I thought it was sweet.
That'll be a poster inside of the Georgia football building.
Don't play with your food.
Let me make this point though.
They made
real
a
quick.
graphic after the game with that picture.
Let me make this point real quick
It's
though.
just my opinion.
What upset me the most about that was your quarterback is being held like my
baby.
son. It looks like me carrying my son to the house.
Dude's
giving you the
celebrating.
number one like this. And there's all those LSU players, offensive line, all those guys are standing around him. I'm sorry. You don't let that happen.
I would have knocked him
You
out.
do not let that happen. That right there is
That's fighting words.
you don't pick my quarterback up and throw one up in the air like that.
You really don't think he was protecting him?
I don't know.
He was
That
not?
is
one
fighting
bit.
words.
Not one bit. No,
I'll
no,
still-
no,
I'll
absolutely
believe
not.
That's fighting words.
Absolutely
Protecting him
not.
from what?
He knew he was hurt.
No.
Katie, they don't
He
give
was
a
trying to
damn.
carry. They don't give a damn.
I think he did.
That team went for 2 when they were up 25. or
Just
whatever
to
it was.
make a
I
round
think
50
they knew
burger.
he was hurt, and they weren't trying to body
That's
slam
nice
him
of
down.
you.
No,
Yeah,
I
it's very
think
mom of
Mom.
It was nice.
because there was a
Protecting my kid.
so two or three years ago.
He's playing with his food.
It was a year before Burrow got drafted. It was 19, I guess, and Cincinnati was playing at Miami, and it was like the tank for Tua Bowl or whatever, at the time. And they got in a brawl, and there's a picture of the 5 offensive linemen for the Bengals sitting on the bench, and the brawl going on right on their sideline. And somebody writes the meme, well, there's the Bengals offensive line still protecting no one. And I'm like, my point is this: and again, kudos to the LSU staff for having them understand, don't get a penalty, all that kind of stuff. But there's a point, man.
Yeah.
You got my quarter, you got my dude up, and you're holding him in the air with the number.
If nothing else, rip
he'd
him
been
out of his
protecting him.
hand.
If he didn't have the number 1 up in the air with the
I
other
know.
hand,
I wish he didn't have the number 1.
that would have
up
been
in the air.
protecting him.
But
I would have
otherwise,
said,
I
I would
think he
have.
was protecting.
I could see that. I could see if you held him up and then set him back down.
Yeah.
But you're holding him up with a 1 up in there.
I know. I wish he wouldn't have done the 1, but I do think that he intended to protect him. Just my opinion.
Well,
He intended to take him home with him.
The good thing about this morning is this seat was warm already because Katie's on fire today. Now. I didn't hear what. Were you going to a funeral or something? What are you
A
doing?
funeral? Why would I go to a funeral like that?
I don't know. People dress up for funerals.
In black.
Oh, I don't know. I try not to go to funerals.
Not
kind of a
purple and
genius.
gold.
Try not to go to funerals.
I've been
so.
crashing funerals.
She's going
It's
to
actually kind of
Malky's
a,
luncheon.
Jazz has still got it.
Who?
From Wedding Crasher. It's like, he still got it. He's crashing funerals. Everybody's like, oh my God. It's like, he's kind of a genius.
All right, Kyle Caskey, Caskey's Clicker, the extended cut coming your way here shortly. We're going to get out of here and flip the set over. They'll take over here for Caskey's Clicker coming up now here with a dive into LSU, Georgia. Remember, all of our stuff brought back to you by RMB Builders. RMB Builders is on Instagram. You can find them there on social media. RMB-builders.com. Anything that you may be looking for, custom design home, you want to build your dream home, reconstruction, RMB Builders can help you. All of that is found online and on Instagram, RMB-Builders. All right, coming up, Caskey's Clicker, presented by Citizens Bank and Trust, coming up now here on the Jordy Culotta Show.
In a wreck, Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys is ready to go to work for you. Come meet your team.
I'm your intake specialist. I coordinate your case and connect you with your attorney and paralegal.
That's us, your legal team.
Thanks.
And we'll fight to get you every dollar you deserve.
I'm your settlements and disbursement manager, and I'm here to get you paid on time.
I'm attorney Gordon McKernan. Put our team to work today. Just call us. Get it done.
We're sitting in the
So
dugout.
funny you say that.
And Pelfrey is not pitching today, but he's in full uni, he's turfs, and he's standing up on the
First step.
fence, whatever, just like this, watching the game, and we start talking about, pissing your pants, something whatever. And he was like, "I'll piss my pants right now." We're wearing,
No way.
We're wearing gray pants, long gray pants. He goes, "I'll piss my pants right now." No, you won't. Yeah, how much money do you give me? So we gathered up however many people were in there. I think it ended up being $2,000 total.
I pissed my pants for $2,000.
And
100%.
So he goes in there, and he's watching the game, and he just starts pissing in his pants. Gray pants.
Yeah.
So you see it going down his pants. It's long pants going into his turfs. And he's just going into his turfs. He takes his turfs out and dumps out the pee outside on the warning track, on the dugout. And he just puts them back on, and he finishes the inning. He waits till the inning is over with to leave. And so he's watching the whole inning with piss in his pants. And everybody is dying laughing. Manager's laughing. Everybody's laughing. He gets up out of it and walks to the dugout, pee all in his pants, in the gray pants. It was awesome.
I remember telling them, hey, listen, my job here is to make sure that we bring, big time football to a small town environment. Right. And so you see on movies sometimes about the way a town reacts to the football program and what it means to everybody. And that was the hopes and dreams that I had for the place. And so our kids take a distinct responsibility in wearing that Z on their helmet. It means a lot to them. And then on the flip side of that, our community does a tremendous job of supporting our program, supporting the athletic department, supporting our school as a whole. And there's really a great relationship there that's a lot of fun to be a part of.
Thank you for the access, man. Looking forward to tonight. We'll talk soon.
Coach, wait, before you go, fix your hair again one more time.
Oh, look at him.
Let's go.
Yes.
Here.
Look at him.
What do you think about that?
Game day,
What do you
baby.
think about that?
Game day. Hell yeah.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it, man. Great to see you. Thank you.
You too, guys. I appreciate it. Y'all have a great day.
All right, man. There he is. There he is. My guy. David Brewerton checking in. What does Harold Perkins do for this defense? What does he allow you guys to do?
Yeah, Perk, man, he's just so raw, man. All he know how to do is make a play. But I love him. He brings a certain type of juice to the defense, and he's right alongside of me on the edge. He knows how to rush the edge. As a young guy, that's very valuable to the defense, being able to rush the edge. Making the quarterback step up. But yeah, they put him everywhere. Middle linebacker, outside rusher. Maybe sometimes he's gonna be in the drop. So he's very versatile for our defense.
Question in that game. You're listening to the Jordy Culotta Show live on YouTube. Catch it every day, 7 to 9 a.m. wherever you have internet access.
Oh, my guy, the host of Mac and Cube.
You said you wanted me to close it out.
I listen to his pod every day on WJOX 94. I thought I was going to beat Charlie. I didn't. You were fantastic as always. Have a great call in Missouri. I'll see you soon, man.
Thanks, man. Good
Later.
talking to you, Jordy.
Always. There he is. Cole Kubelik, the absolute best. Don't overthink it, ABC. When you move to a primetime slot and the SEC is getting that billing, make this man the color commentator. He's the absolute best.
Ooh, I mean, what a pro.
What a pro. Donaldsonville Glass and Body, the trusted name in frame, body, and automotive paint repair since 1977. They have served their customers for over 45 years. You can find them online at dgbauto.com or stop in and see them Railroad Avenue and Division Street out in Donaldsonville, Louisiana. Look, they can help you with your insurance claims. They can make the repair process as stress-free as possible. I'm speaking from experience here. I've got numerous windshields, body repair, all done by Kenny and the crew over at Donaldsonville Glass and Body. They are, without question, the most well-equipped shop in the area. Stop in and see them today. Shop them online, dgbauto.com, or stop in and see the crew over in Division Street in Donaldsonville, Louisiana. Donaldsonville Glass and Body. Hey fellas, it's Jordy Culotta for my friends over at Men's Total Health. Guys, do you suffer from fatigue, decreased libido, erectile dysfunction, weight gain or loss of muscle mass, signs of depression and anxiety, hair loss, mental fog, general loss of interest? Then you might be suffering from low testosterone. Go see my friend Mike Roach and his great team over at Men's Total Health, over in Metairie at menstotalhealth.net online. And stop in and see how they can change your life today. A simple shot and some knowledge from Mike Roach can get you back up, moving with your energy, get your sex drive back, build your muscle mass, make you feel young again. All online, menstotalhealth.net. Red Stick Sports, a local staple in Baton Rouge to all sports fans, was founded back in 1981 and has remained a family business for over 40 years. Today, they still have the great selection on the floor, but they're also a leader in custom apparel for businesses, sports teams, and other groups. Take it from us, everybody over here at FM Digital Media. They help us out with all of our apparel. Let them help you out today. Go ask for Cody over at Red Stick Sports. Check him out online at redsticksports.biz. I was embarrassed about my smile. Are you unhappy at yours? Do you not smile back at yourself? I called my friend, Dr. Spillers, over at Johnson Spillers. He fixed my smile, and now everywhere I go, people are complimenting it after the work that Dr. Spillers and the staff did to my mouth. They can do it to yours. Get in touch with them. JohnsonSpillers.com. 2 locations, one in Gonzales, one in Baton Rouge. Easy to find them, JohnsonSpillers.com. Are you looking for sound financial advice? Then get in touch with Daniel Newman of Edward Jones. You can call him today at 225-261-8262 or email him daniel.newman@edwardjones.com. If you're planning for retirement, saving for college, for children or grandchildren, or just looking for sound investment opportunities, get in touch with Daniel today, 225-261-8262, located on Magnolia Square Drive in Central. Daniel Newman of Edward Jones.
Looking to book a dumpster but no idea how? We've made it quick and easy for you. Check out our website at moralesrolloffs.com. Let Morales Roll-Offs know your desired delivery date, and finally, provide your contact details. To make payment, look out for an email invoice with all your booking details. On delivery day, our driver will notify you through text and email that your dumpster is ready and on the way. Now you know how easy and convenient it is. Call Morales Roll-Offs at 225-427-0000 for your dumpster.
Hey Baton Rouge, when traveling through Natchez, Mississippi, whether you need to fill up your vehicle or your belly, stop by Go-Mart and On The Go Deli. Go-Mart has clean restrooms, community coffee, an awesome beer cave, and a great selection of anything you might need on your trip. So stop by Go-Mart at 4 Sergeant Prentice Drive as you're entering Natchez on the left, and visit Tom and Wright Granning and their awesome team at Go-Mart.
Don't let the name fool you. Men's Total Health has offerings for the ladies, too. Guys, is your wife or partner suffering from urinary incontinence, low sexual desire, or pain during sex? Then the O-Shot might be for her. Don't let it scare you. It's totally natural. It's PRP. And Mike Roach and the crew at Men's Total Health will make you as comfortable as you can be. Contact me for more information, Katie at JordyCulottaShow.com, and I'm happy to tell you everything that Men's Total Health has to offer for the ladies.
Me.
All right, we're back.
Hurt me.
Back. Caskey's Clicker.
Ready for the
Tuesday
pain.
full edition. Glad you guys are hanging out. This is not going to be as much of an ass whip as you think it's going to be today. I know last week it was A&M, and I had to gloat a little bit, but this week is honestly, I pulled a lot of stuff that I think is good stuff that you saw versus probably the best team in football. Georgia obviously.
It's not as bad as the score indicated.
Yeah, I would agree with that. And I think Georgia's also got the most complete team overall and probably some of the best second-level depth that you can get. A lot of teams say, okay, yeah, we got depth, but their backups could probably start every backup tomorrow and still
you wouldn't know the
best
difference.
team.
I mean, Coach, they like the first, I want to say it was like their first drive. They rotated the whole defensive line out.
Yeah,
they did a hockey shift.
It's like the hockey shift.
The whole defensive line.
Did you see it? Did you see a difference?
No.
That's where I think that's where you're striving to get to in college, but it's hard to do because of transfer portals and all that. People leave the league.
But if you're a coach on the other sideline, you see that happen, or you're like, oh, we might be in for it. Obviously, during film and such, but it's like, man, they really do rotate the way that we thought they might.
So we used to, I know in the NFL, when you play these really, really good rushers or really good interior, like Aaron Donald on the interior, if that person goes out of the game, you literally
drop a new play.
You run something that you didn't want to run when he was in the game.
Mm-hmm.
If it's an edge rusher, there's a protection that you were worried about because of that edge rusher. Let's call it now. Go ahead and get that one out of the way. If it's a shot play or whatever, just get that one out of the way because he's off the field. But when they rotate an entire line in and you can't tell the difference, now that 88 is pretty damn good for Georgia. So like when he goes off the field, you might say,
we have a chance here.
Let's run something inside. We got a chance to do something different. So the first thing I'm going to start with here, obviously we talked about this on the other show, but I want to hit it again. And this could kind of get clumped into the offensive breakdown today, but the field goal, again, you got these two guys in here, and there's a third guy. It's kind of hard to see, but there's a third guy right over the tackle. So there's the guard. So they got three guys over those two right there. And what happens is Will Campbell, is trying to get his head inside here. And, again, you got a guy over him too and a guy here and a guy here. So you're overloaded your rush over here. And really, it's a good job by Georgia. But, again, if this kick is 6 inches higher, I'm not putting that on the kicker by any means, but –
bad snap too.
Now here's the thing. I just want to make a note. Watch the red shirts running off. There's red shirts running all off. There's three guys at least right there running off. And then you get over here, you got these guys. This guy's even going, get away, because
Peter.
So what this is, and just to explain it one more time, once this ball's kicked and it lands somewhere on that side of the line of scrimmage, it's like a punt that's rolling on the ground that hasn't been touched yet. So when you think of a punt, if the receiving team touches it at that point, it's a live ball. Tackle the guy, or it can be fumbled, or whatever the case is. If the ball's rolling on the ground and the punt team touches it, it's down wherever that was. If the ball lays there for a while and like nobody shows up and it's sitting at rest, but nobody's around it, they'll blow it dead, and it's like you touched it. But that's why you see 8 of the punt team go and circle the ball. And again, if you don't know, play to the ball. If you don't know the rule or you're confused, go surround. But look at my man right here. He's doing the dog squat over the ball right there. It's like, it's like right there. He's
looks like Uga.
He really looks like confused. Like, do I pick this up? And you can see, look at his eyes. I think y'all made a good point. Was He's staring right at LSU's guys.
I mean, Coach watching it live, he was literally looking. He looked at Georgia's sideline, looked at the ball.
Because he knows, I think
LSU,
he knows right
and was
now
like,
he's lost a couple of his blockers. So he's like, okay, should I pick it or should I go? And then when he does, obviously,
he peeked up and was like, "Oh shit, that's a lot of sideline."
Like,
right
look,
there.
I want you to watch this right here on the side of. I'm gonna see if I can pause this. My man's giving a
He's
high
a high
He's giving a
five.
high five over here. My man's giving a high five. I mean,
No clue what's going on.
So I'll fast forward to the run part here, but if you watch right here, just again
See, Ali Gay thought about it. And he was
see, like even him, he's like, no, I'm not dealing with it. He's telling him to get away, and it's a lack of knowing the rules on both sides. My man right here, they're giving high fives right here, like, hey, good stuff, man, cool.
Great Citizens Bank right there, Coach. Good
And then-
clicker work.
And then again, I found this on after the game. I mean, you got a bunch of dudes walking off, and then you got the whole LSU team right here. And again, it takes whoever that is right there realizes something ain't right.
That's Will Campbell.
I think that is Will Campbell.
And he gave up real quick.
But he knows. I mean,
He's like, shit.
So, anyway, kick me off for 2 seconds here.
Isn't that a scenario where they've seen LSU special teams? I'm not talking about the return, but the block, where they're like, they're vulnerable here. If we feel like we have a chance that we can go get one.
I think they picked on. I just think they picked on the fact that they had some really, really big, strong guys on their D line, and I've seen this happen before. And you say you're gonna triple like that gap or triple that player, and you're gonna put a guy in a gap, a guy head up, and a guy in a gap, and you're gonna just you're all going right through him. And then one of you three is probably going to kind of get a chance to throw your hand up in the air. And, I mean, it worked out. But moving on to the offense, talking about Jaden Daniels and being hurt, and I liked what they did early. They did a lot of quick game. They're going to run a double slant right here. They're not forcing Jaden Daniels to do something that just isn't necessarily going to force him to have to run around. He can get the ball out of his hands quickly. I thought this was good right here just to give, there's a window there. You read it inside out right here on the double slant. And I mean, you hit your guy for a first down. And again, right here, this is later in the game. This is really what we would call an Ohio concept. It's a clear must outside release go by number 1 out here. And number 2 just runs a 5 to 6 yard kind of quick out. And I thought this was just good. It's easy. It's an easy route. It's good for Jaden Daniels. It's timing, boom, get it out. And right here, you end up getting, 8 yards on a simple route. And then you go here, and then we watched it. I mean, but look at him limping. You could tell right now, like, this is not
it.
You're not going to expect this guy to do boots and nakeds and hopefully scramble and things like that. So,
warrior.
But looking at this, so I talked about a snag 7 flat during the watch party, and what a snag says. So this guy's going to run what we call a snag.
He's got the corner.
He's going to
route.
run a corner, which is a 7 route on the route tree, and then he's going to run a flat right here. And I want you to keep an eye on this formation because
my high school coach's favorite concept.
It's easy.
Snag, baby.
But this is easy because what you're doing is you're going to try to run a flat defender out. You're going to run this guy to here, and you're hoping this guy drops back. So, my little thing went crazy there. And you're hoping that he runs out, he doesn't get there, and that you can hit that spot right in there. I want you to pay attention to this formation, though. You see where they're on this hash? Well, they've got the 3 receivers and empty to this side. And see how wide these 2 guys are over here? I want you to just remember that formation because I'm going to come back to it. And I thought it was good what they did. But, again, you talk about easy route. There's your snag right there. And see, that guy hadn't gotten there yet. This guy ran out with the flat. This guy dropped back with the 7 route. So you get it to Malik Neighbors, and now what?
Yak.
You just let him run. I mean, you let your guy play. And it's a great it's an easy concept. You see how he has the ability to get into this area. He could work over here. Let's just say this guy ran a little bit further. He could have worked in and gotten in that window on the other side of him too. So,
and they have a great rapport with each other.
Yeah, I think Malik Neighbors is, I believe, is one of the most, I don't want to say improved, but one of the most, he's coming into his own this year, I guess. You know what I mean? And so it was great to see him do that. This is a dagger concept, so you'll see he's going to end up running like this. Now, the thing I don't like about the way he runs this, he kind of runs this and like almost like goes at that angle. If he would come in and break it in like this, he might be able to catch and run. But, and again, this is Lacey, so I'm going to make a point. It was good to see this kid bounce back. You know, he had a couple big drops in that last game, but as you watch here, he's going to run up in, and you can see how if he were just to bend it, you know, bring it down that line just a little bit, he kind of fades it just a bit. If he bends it down that line, he might be able to catch and dart up the field. But that's a big play, but it was good to see him. You can see it better right here. See how he's just kind of fading it. If he would have turned and really gotten in that area right there, he might have been able to catch and run it. All right, here's the Kayshon the Kayshon touchdown. Now I want you to watch. See how you got two guys running the same route.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not sure. It looks like to me like they're running like a drive concept, but usually if you're running a drive concept, you got a shallower guy and a guy running here. They're a little bit too close for my liking. But the fact, I want you to see this. Kayshon catches this ball right here. There's a lot of guys still around Kayshon.
They got a dude over here too.
Watch, that guy should make that. Georgia should make that play, right?
He's watching.
Here comes a guy here. He looks like he's running off the sideline. Got a guy here. It got to this point right here. Once this guy missed that tackle, I was like, he's done. He's gone. He's scoring. Because there's that split C2 split 2.
Mm-hmm.
And we always told our guys, if you you know, if it's a single defender, run at him, then make your move. But if you got, you know, two defenders here, you just run right down the middle of them and don't try to run at anybody. And that's what he's doing right here. And his speed kicked on, and I was impressed with.
It's the old Michael Vick versus the Vikings in overtime,
Yeah,
where he splits two and throws it in the stands.
One thing I did notice about this play, Jaden Daniels went through all of his reads.
Yeah, but you see, I think he's supposed to be one of the two. You know, I think he's supposed to probably be a little bit shallower. But the fact that honestly, it's just one of those things. It doesn't matter at this point.
I thought he was going to run all the way to the draft.
I thought he was too.
Same.
All right, so this is the sack down here in the red zone, and I just want to make a point. This is what we would call a seven-man pro. So you get the tight end right here, and you got the back right here. So the tight end's going to block the known rusher. The back's going to come over here, and he's going to block the C gap to the D gap. So he's going to start inside and work out. If there's somebody in the C gap, he blocks it. If not, work out. But the tight end should know that the back is working inside of him first. So he can overset if he needs to, knowing he has help. See how he sets here and he turns? Inside. See how his hips are turned and he's facing this way? He should set out a little bit more on an angle with his hips still more or less like that. Allow this guy to get here. If he beats him inside, you're going to run into a wall, because even though Josh is blocking somebody right here, he would still have to run into a bunch of stuff. Instead, see how he's turned? You don't ever want to be turned like that. So
like a healthy Jaden Daniels probably would have ran this.
And there's a lot of growth that can come from this. You don't want to be in that position right there, knowing you've got inside help. So I believe there's a lot of growth right now for Mason Taylor. And you got to remember, people keep forgetting, kid's a true freshman. Probably hasn't grown in his body yet, to be honest with you.
He's like a puppy with big feet.
So he's going to get better. I don't want to talk too much more about this one. I know we hit it pretty hard earlier, but you could do this one 1,000 times and not do this again. So they're running a blitz here. LSU's just running a run play with a quick RPO right here, a little quick slant RPO. Well, they blitzed both of these guys off the edge. Well, throw it to this guy. That's great. Well, that's a dart. That is a dart right there. And usually when these things aren't caught, they kind of keep going. This thing just trickles up in the air and falls right on Besh's helmet. Like you couldn't have planned. I mean, you couldn't have.
Up.
You couldn't try that.
Look at Jaden make a tackle. Get in there.
Oh yeah, that is the other thing. Like that to me was your quarterback's hurt, right? Your quarterback's hurt. Watch him. No.
Look at that quick step. Still got it. But the one thing, what do you know? Do you have the timestamp for when that happened in the game? Do you remember?
I don't. Not on me.
That might have been. I think that was like after Kayshon scored, so it was 7-7.
So it was probably LSU's third or fourth drive on offense.
Yeah,
they started squatting on these routes because they realized that LSU was running quick game because Jaden couldn't run, and they started squatting on all those short throws, and that's how that happens.
But my point is
That shouldn't happen.
If the tip of the ball, if the ball landed like this on the tip of the ball, hits him, this bounce doesn't happen. This bounces straight up in the air, and homeboy hits it right to him. So
are the ball maybe
you know
you
again
have to file a complaint with the league.
I don't want to beat it up too much, but it's just crazy. Like you can't
draw this
flat.
You couldn't have drawn that. You couldn't have. So point that there's a lot of things happening in this game right now that like are just not.
Throw the whole Xbox out the window. I'm restarting the game.
Yeah, and really, this is I'm taking my ball and going home type thing. Sorry, I got way too many replays of this in here. So looking at the next play, this is again a sack, and this is the one where they picked him up, and it is what it is. My man 88 just made a good play. Homeboy's gonna make a lot of money pretty soon, you know, if he already isn't. But when you end up in that right there, when you end up like that, and you've got all your guys standing around him, I'm sorry, but I can't. And again, kudos to the LSU coaching staff and Brad Davis for probably telling his linemen, listen, guys, we already got enough against us. Let's not get a penalty. I get it. But there's a point, man, where it's like, dude, like, you know, put the dude down. And, you know, Katie made a point earlier that she thought he was protecting him, not with that number one. But watch everybody's reaction around it. It's kind of like, all right, man, cool. See you later. Like, I don't know. To me, I can't fathom being Jaden Daniels right there with this guy holding that number one up in the air right there, you know. And Jaden Daniels probably like confused. Like, look at the people in the back. Look at the band members. I mean, seriously, I want you to watch the expressions of these band members in the back.
Look, they're laughing at it. Oh no! Look, he's covered. Look at the guy covering his nose.
I mean, they're like, what just happened? Josh Williams, good to see him back. Now, I want to make a point of I know this is going to sound crazy when I mention this, but and I don't know how to draw this, but there's the Jumbotron, put that straight up in it. The Jumbotron in this Atlanta stadium is a big circle.
It's so weird.
Around the inside. So there's nothing really in the end zones. I used to teach the NFL running backs because you'd have the Jumbotrons and you're running towards the end zone. If you're worried about somebody chasing you, don't look back. Look up, because usually they're playing it for you on the Jumbotron. So I always told them, look up, don't slow down, just peek up at the Jumbotron to see if somebody's. And you always see people go, why is he shouldn't be looking at the Jumbotron. No, we're using that as information.
It's a rearview mirror.
It's a rearview mirror, exactly. So I'm telling them, y'all run as fast as you can run. But right now, Atlanta doesn't have it. He would literally have to look straight up to see this replay. So you can see right here, he breaks. And I love seeing Josh Williams do this, but right here,
a little peak.
You know, there's a little peak right there. That little peak, I think, slowed him down just enough. I'm not saying 3 wouldn't have caught him, but now I want you to watch Bradford here. This is a great job. He's going to do this and get up to this linebacker. He knocks this guy flat past, which what that's called is defining the read.
Look at their feet crossed up.
And if you watch this, if you watch
no, not again.
Not that again. Sorry. I have a lot of plays here today, Nikki. Okay, so if you watch what's happening is Josh Williams is really running at the front side leg of this center. So his read is really the first guy in that location and then back. So what they're trying to do is they're trying to define this guy either this way or this way, depending on how this guy plays. But see how he's playing a zero nose?
Mm-hmm.
This is called two gapping. So when Charles Turner goes this way, this guy's taught to play here, and this guy's taught to play here. So what's happening here is you see this, see how, bam, he gets knocked over. 10's waiting right there to play this.
Second
Bradford
level.
goes boom and gets right back up. And
that's teaching tape.
That right there that's a perfect block, and I'm just telling you, that's a good player. I know we get all these other guys get a lot of pub. Bradford's a good player. And again, you know, you can see right here, Josh, I mean,
he's not healthy either.
He's
because he just doesn't have that.
He's going as fast as he can go right there,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm glad to see him back. I'm glad to see him, make a comeback this week. Now these next, I don't know, 8 plays are all Nuss. All right, it's a Nuss bus. So this was the first scramble he had, which was a throw to Kayshon, and I thought this was good by everybody. I'm talking about all the skill guys that when they got down the field, you're taught if you're the deep guy and he scrambles, you come back. If you're over here, you cross the field. If you're the furthest guy back here, maybe you ran a flat route, you come down below. You know, everybody kind of runs the spots. You know, if you're low, you go high, or whatever it is, you know. And right here, so he gets to this point. Again, does he need to scramble? Probably not, you know, but he's trying to make something happen. And then you see how everybody's kind of finding a way. And Josh was kind of in that no man's land because he was sitting about here. He starts working. Here comes Kayshon working his way back over here. But this was good for him going, okay, I gotta get myself out of the way and then just try to make something happen.
Find some work.
Kayshon, right, but if you watch it from this angle, see how you got him down here, you got him run up the field. He kind of stops trying to come back because that's what you're taught. And then Kayshon did that. I mean, obviously everybody's like, well, why did you just run out of bounds? Well, there wasn't nowhere else to go.
Ball took him out of bounds, too. I mean, that's an anticipatory throw. That's what everybody's obsessed with Nussmeier right now.
And here's another throw. So this throw's going to end up going to Mason Taylor. But this is a great catch by Mason Taylor. But you can see here again, maybe he sees that and he feels like he needs to go. I can understand that, but that's a great catch by Mason Taylor, and you'll see it from this other angle. And the one thing I want to point out on this other angle is I want you to watch Nussmeier right here is throwing off of his back foot, if you want to call it that.
Yeah, off platform.
But watch the throw. That is a perfect spiral. It's a perfect spiral and almost a perfect location throw. So that's what this kid can do. But look at that catch by Mason Taylor, going up high, both hands, pulling it down. So there's a lot to be excited about.
No doubt.
And that's why that's why I was saying I'm just not an ass
Back
whipping.
it up a little bit, Coach.
What's that?
This play right here. Back it up a little bit. Was that Kyron Lacey in the backfield?
Mm-hmm. That's old school 2019 LSU when they used to do that with Jefferson and Jamar
I'd like
Chase.
to see a little Kayshon in the
here's what I actually have that written on my notes here. So we called these H formations. So right here, so this is kind of a I'll try to pause it a little better for you. So this was a bunch formation right here. They got a bunch formation. There's a receiver over here, and there's the back. Okay, so usually this is like a back. This is a receiver. Well, we call this an H formation because we called him a halfback. So if he said like H bunch left, would tell the back who's here. So that's Josh Williams. That's Lacey. And why you do that?
To create a mismatch.
It's mismatch. It's also confusion. You know, if you're playing man coverage, then all of a sudden you've got like, especially if this guy can run the ball, it puts DBs in the box and linebackers out of the box, and you can hand the ball off and run with a DB playing linebacker. There's a lot of things you can do with this, but I thought this was a great look. But watch him stand in versus the blitz right here. I want you to watch him stand in versus this guy that adds on right here. Stands in, throws it, and I mean he made a true progression on this play. Well, watch his eyes. His eyes are going all the way across.
2, 3. Back to the middle.
And I mean and again, you know, Jack Besh. I think there's still a lot to be excited about Jack Besh. But you look here. They were trying to see that's that mesh route that they were just doing. They were thinking that they might get man coverage, but now that he knows, because they didn't line up in a man coverage look, he knows it's zone.
So
well, that's
the middle.
That's your zone answer with the mesh concept. There's always you have two crossers and you always have somebody over the ball. And that's what that was. And you can see and he saw it. So he knew pre-snap, I'm throwing this to Besh. But I thought that was great for him standing in versus blitz.
Well, and it shows off his – I get why people are infatuated with Nussmeier. I do, because when you see him throw it like that flat-footed and he can still turn, find you in the middle of the field, and he's got juice on it.
He has – I mean, he does. He has that Mahomes, Stafford type of sidearm, no-looker stuff.
Yeah.
This is the play here. So we're running a deep go route here. So this is he's going to end up turning and trailing this guy, and this guy's over the top. This is the touchdown pass to Malik Neighbors.
Projected first-round pick at corner, too.
So what's going to happen is he's
Ringo.
He's over and he's under. That's the way that this coverage is going to work on Neighbors. They know he's fast, so this guy should be staying deep. Well, this is the guy that made that crazy interception where he leaped up and caught it against Oregon. So he knows he can make these crazy plays. Well, Nuss just throws this up. And to be honest with you, this guy plays this right here. It probably is an interception or a blow-up. And this guy played a little bit too low. There's the ball.
Tried to undercut it.
And right there, that ball got right in from this other angle, which is, I mean, great play. Good, because these guys needed that right now. You talk about a shot in the arm. See how he broke and went down? he should be breaking more at that angle because obviously you got to know who
Look
this
at
is.
the other safety and look at him.
But you got to know who this is. You got to know that's the fastest guy on the field probably. You know, I don't know if Malik is still. He was when I was working at LSU for those few months. He was probably the fastest dude out there. But look how close that was over his fingers. And I mean, he makes a good play. But again, I think that was a bad break by the safety. It happens, and you can't, because here's the thing. Here's a CO concept. So this is a little different. I'll get to the other interception in a minute. So when I say CO, we used to call this a Carney, and this was a Omaha. So that's why it was a CO. It was this. So basically, you got a corner route, and he's going to come in one way or the other. I think that's how they did it. But they're going to run. Yeah, you can kind of see it, but he threw him flat, and you'll see it from this other angle. So see how they have those two guys on him again? So right here, he's going to inside release, come up here and run this corner. Well, there's two guys on, I believe it's Dre Jenkins. And I thought this was great because those players played over the top of him, and he fell back behind it. And when I say throw him flat, instead of taking the angle high, he threw him flat, and he was able to come back.
Bend it back a little bit.
And you can see it right here. See, it's the same coverage. It's that same coverage. You got a guy underneath and a guy over the top, and he threw it right in that area right there where he fell back under it. And
how many times have you seen Jure do that, work back to the ball? You've seen him do it at least 3 times this year where it feels like it might be an underthrown ball, but it feels like they have
they got it. There's
a little
there.
connection there where they know Jure's always going to work back to the football.
And here's a little football teaching here just for anybody that's interested in how this is taught. Because this guy has to inside release a little bit and get vertical, and this guy's going vertical and doing that, this guy inside, we always said you have to know this guy's issues. Well, what's this guy's issue? He has press.
Mm-hmm.
Is he going to be able to get off the ball as fast as if he had off coverage? No. So you have to time yourself out or take a little bit of an inside release before you break out. So watch, I believe it's Kayshon. So if you watch him, see how he kind of stuttered his feet just a touch. I know it's not much, but he knew he had that issue. So I got to let him get by and then go underneath. And you're kind of creating a little bit of a pick there, but
that's what we call a rub, Coach.
But that's something that we always taught him on that route. Know the other guy's issues. Looking here, this is the big pass to Neighbors again. Dangerous throw because he's going to really end up having two guys on him again over here. And I want you to watch Neighbors. He throws this ball up. Y'all heard that thing where they're talking about Heineke in Washington, and what's the receiver's name? Terry McLaurin. It's like F it. Terry's down there somewhere. He's down there somewhere. It's like F it. Malik's down there somewhere. I mean, he just ran. Watch this from the other angle. He just runs past these dudes. And this is amazing because you've got that same coverage. It's that kind of bracketish.
They know where they want to go with it.
And watch him just run past them. He just ran flat past them. That to me is if you can get that perfected over the offseason of whoever the quarterback is and get the timing of these deep balls with him.
You got something serious.
Because you got a bunch of other dudes that can do some other stuff. If you can get the deep ball with that kid, man, it's going to be something else. Now,
would you say that's a little bit of Nussmeier kind of throwing him open a little bit
to
kind of lead him to green grass?
And I think it had a lot to do with it too. I was like, he's down there somewhere. I'm gonna throw it. He can go get it. You know, I think he has a trust in him that says I'm gonna throw it.
Give him a chance.
So you're on this play. It's like an inside go. So he's going to be doing this. He's going to kind of run in and out. But what's going to happen is you can't really see it, but there's a safety sitting right about the hash over here, and he's going to break on his ball. The thing that the quarterback has to do, and he's got to look over here first. Again, if you look at I want you to look at the formation. Does this look familiar? Remember earlier I said watch this formation
and the spread. Yep.
See that? Now you're trying something different with it. You know, so you're trying to see right now. Can I get this safety over here because we've got all these guys over here. Well, watch his eyes. Watch Nuss's eyes. If he can hold it, hold it just a touch longer. And this safety. I mean, he was already playing over that way, you know, and it ended up looking exactly like that other coverage. I think it was different though, because I'm pretty sure this was a single high, but the safety's still over. You can't see; he's off the screen. That's how deep he is. But I mean, that's a dangerous throw. And again, that's you you're going to get that right now. That's why I said he had nothing to lose. So he's trying to make. He's saying, "You screw this. I've already thrown 2 of them.
I'm going to do what I can to bring you back."
I've thrown 2 of them up. That's the same route A&M was throwing to Moose against LSU the week before. I mean, it's a good route. All right, so amazing.
And would you say? Sorry, I don't mean to cut you off, but would you say that that's a little bit of Georgia kind of like going through? You just got beat by a similar concept, and Nuss wants to take those whole shot plays. So if you feel like there's going to be a deep route, you turn and go.
You mentioned earlier about Jaden Daniels being, the quick game and everything, and they knew, okay, we're going to break on this stuff. I think when Nussmeier came in, it flipped.
They changed the entire.
It flipped because they said, this guy's not going to throw it underneath. He's going to throw it deep, or he's going to whatever he's going to do.
He's playing Sandlot.
Now, talk about Sandlot. Watch this play. This play is Sandlot. That's a sack. I mean, and now. This reminds you of, I think everybody who watches this thinks Burrow.
Mm-hmm.
And, well, I mean, he's falling down backwards right here. And, I'm out. I'm just going to launch this sucker up.
He's got
and touchdown.
So much juice.
Unbelievable arm.
But watch where he throws his ball from. Throws his ball from the,
45?
42, 43. And
off platform.
But he just, still a great throw. And that was a 50-yard throw in the air. And I want anybody listening to take a football, go out on football field, warm yourself up,
and see how far you get through.
And throw it. See if you can throw it 50 yards under with your base under you, and maybe even getting a running start. And then I want you to go try to throw it like that, with both feet off the ground, and throw it 50 yards in there. That's impressive. And I know he's a college quarterback. I get it, but. Now, I didn't understand this. This blew my mind. I'm sorry.
They had to bullied
Dr. Pepper
into giving both of the girls the scholarship.
Okay, so here's the thing.
And then they said the tiebreaker from yesterday. Everybody was like, what the
This is
I
OT.
didn't watch it.
This is OT. And they said that they had something the day before. I'm sorry. But if you're going to have a contest where you're doing this, then if they're going to tie at 8 and it's over, right now it's over. Homegirl's like, I won it yesterday, yay! And this girl's like, really, really? But here's the thing: you each throw a ball, and then the first person to miss, you lose, and the first person to miss loses. You do something different. You don't. I'm sorry. I know I'm going off topic here, but
no, I'm with you.
Look, you gotta have a real tiebreak. If you're gonna give away $100,000, let us see it. I want to see it.
Right. I would go 1-on-1. You're not going at the same time. I want all eyes on you. You go one time, and I'll go one time.
I like this halftime thing. I like the throwing into the big can, but that right there, that's like.
And sometimes the throws are just awful.
Coach, we got to be able to go.
They're chest passing.
That's what I was about to say. What happened? I mean, if you're my age or older, they used to go over the top. This thing is newfangled. It's been like the last 5 years where they're chest passing everything.
If they really want to make it a competition, bump to 10 yards.
Mm-hmm.
5 yards,
Let's see, that's kind of like.
You could underhand it 5 yards in there if you wanted to.
Well, that's what I would say. I would be kind of getting it out the bucket and just option pitching it in there.
But but that's kind of what they're doing. I mean,
but they're chest passing 2 hands.
Anyway, it kicked me off for a second. I'm sorry. I had to go on. I had to go on a tangent of that one today because
I lost money on that.
I'm like,
for who?
Yeah, I was betting Noah. They're on the live stream. I was like, I had a homegirl on the right, and I just picked her, and it's like, it tied 8-8. And I was like, oh, we're going to triple. We're going to sudden death.
Let us.
And they're like, it's over.
And they're like, oh, she wins. I'm like, that was 8-8. And they're like, oh, she won yesterday's tiebreaker. What was the tiebreaker?
Coach, if you
was it how high they could jump? Did they do
the same thing?
Did they have a drinking contest? What did they do the day before?
If you would have heard the boos in the stadium when they announced that they were gonna give it to the girl that was jumping around, they were like, everybody was like,
nobody won.
Oh, you suck! It was.
But I think
dude, it's high competition.
But that's gonna take. But you gotta think about it. That's $100,000 of tuition. I mean. And especially a couple of those people were saying they were going to med school and law school.
That's like a lifesaver.
That pays for it right there. I mean, now if you're an undergrad and whatever, I'm
sports admin
coach.
We going out tonight.
You still get it. It still helps. But I'm just saying
oh, it helps.
Book the section and buy the bottles now.
Exactly. I'm spending it tonight. Can I get it in cash?
I like how they always make the point. This is for tuition.
Yeah, sounds good.
Cool. That's cool. That means the other money I got can go somewhere else.
Yeah, give me one of those big checks. I don't care.
Yeah, I got a little left over.
All right, kick me back on. We'll move on to defense. Now, Georgia's offense. Known for the run game, obviously, and I thought they obviously had a
26-year-old quarterback.
They had a good day running the ball. I'd say it wasn't like one of those just you look at it and you go, oh, that they just killed them, but it was enough to
get into the other stuff that they want to do.
Break the will and get them to do things.
You've seen NFL quarterbacks. Where would you rank Stetson Bennett among? As
Probably
a pro prospect.
Fifth rounder.
He'll be drafted. He'll be in the. I'm just mark my words on this. He'll end up being like Colt McCoy, Josh Johnson.
He should be in the league forever.
He'll be one of those guys that just sticks around forever, and it's because, he's a winner. He knows how to win, and they like to keep guys like that as in the. Now, will he ever become? Is he going to become Mac Jones, where he falls into a starting job and keeps it because he's whatever? I don't know, but I think he'll be in the league for a while. Now I sent Lloyd. I sent you a text message last night. But it was Josh Johnson. Josh Johnson has been with me on 2 different teams. He was with me in Cincinnati twice, 13 and 15, and then he was with me in Detroit in 19. That doesn't count the other 15 teams he's been on.
15 teams.
This guy's been on more than half of the teams in the NFL.
Guy's got jerseys for days.
And I'll tell you what, he's been an active backup on most of them.
Wow.
You bring him in for a reason.
Guys, I'm telling you all, that's a lot of money.
It is.
This guy has made a great living for him and his family and his family's family.
Well, we got to move again.
We got to move again, but you know what?
But we got dental.
Yeah.
But you know what?
Ricky got tenure.
If I retire when I'm 37, and as I can't. Josh is probably 35 by now, but like if you retire and you're like 37, but you've made that kind of money, but you really never played, you still get to live with that money, and you still get to live your life after 37. And I'm telling you right now, I mean, I would much rather make my money at the front end and chill on the back end than. It's kind of like right now. I had kids at age 38. I lived my life on the front end when I was young and could do it, and now I'm
being dad.
Now I'm being a dad. Now it keeps me younger. So, but a lot of people look at it the opposite way of like, let's get it all out of the way, and then we'll have the kids will be out of the house when we're 45, and
we can go to Europe
and we can do what we want. But at the same time, I went to Cabo and all that stuff when I was 30.
That's the way to do it.
And had fun with no kids and nothing to worry about. And, but anyway, there's different ways to look at it. So,
well, and if you're Josh Johnson, you're how many years in the league when you get vested?
You got to, it depends on if you were with the players, it's different, but I think it's 5. I think it's still 5 with the.
Isn't there different levels to it?
There's different levels with the players. If you're 5 years in, I believe you get like health insurance the rest of your life. And
there's checks just start coming in.
But
go to the mailbox.
So
15 years.
Circling back to Stetson Bennett, I'm going to talk about a couple run plays first. What I want to show you here is this is a counter play. They're going to end up, I believe, see how they're pulling both guys on the back, and they're going to do this. Just keep in mind how many times they've run this play, because here in a minute I'm going to show you a fumble on this same action, and it's amazing that they actually. But again, that's a look at here, body on body, body on body, body on body. Really, he had enough on him. You're not blocking him because he's the backside guy, and you got a body on body downfield, and you got him running off. And after a while, that stuff starts to just kind of beat on you and beat on you and beat on you. But it was a well blocked play right here. He logs him. The second puller pulls out kicks. He pulls up in here, and because what they're trying to do is, if you look at it, LSU's trying to do what we call spilling. And so this guy's going to come down. He's going to go wrong arm this first puller and try to get everything to go outside so that the guy that's falling over the top here can make the play. Well, he pulled around. The second guy pulled around and picked up the spill guy. So, again, that was I just, Georgia is what they are, man. I mean, you really strive to do a lot of things that they do. And I think LSU over time.
They do the 101 stuff so well.
Yeah. Oh, well, that's what's. They don't do anything special. They do
it's
nothing.
Not Tennessee, where it's like, you got this trick offense or something that's flashy. It's just hat on a hat. Yeah. We're going to outman you.
Now, I want you to watch this run, and I'm going to show you the next play, and I want you to just remember. So this is going to be an inside zone. They're all zoning this way. He's coming across inside zone right here. Simple play. But I want you to watch just the push that these guys are getting down the field here. It's not really the finish. It's just the push. There's the line of scrimmage right there. So that's what, that hurt probably LSU more than anything. But again, as you look at this play, and I think this next play was actually the next play. No, this was actually, so again, if you look, and this running back does a heck of a job. It's kind of hard to see because it's kind of quick. But I want you to watch when he pushes up in here. So he sees that there's guys kind of hanging in here with their hats here. He's going to kind of give a half step here and then come back. And all that does, watch these guys. See how they paused? And, excuse me, that allowed them to get around the edge right there. But going to the next play, I believe, and I showed this one earlier, but it's the exact same play. Like, I believe this was 2 plays in a row. It's the exact same play. He even hops over to the other side like he did on the other one. And it's the exact same inside zone, exact same play, almost there. Now, the point I was making was this is what I saw from Georgia was coming in here and blasting the pile and pushing these guys down the field. And that's a mentality. That's not something that you necessarily coach up. You say that'd be cool if you did that. That's a mentality with that group that says, you know what, when we get that chance, we're going to go take something out of somebody else. We might hit our own dudes every once in a while, but you know, and you tell the running back, just be ready. If you're ever in one of these piles, we're pushing you. Yeah.
And I think you made the point earlier in the year when LSU was playing well and running the ball well. You saw that same thing with Emory Jones and Will Campbell where they were getting out of the pile and hopping up and flexing on everybody.
And they enjoy it.
Yeah.
It's enjoyable.
We love running the ball.
It's enjoyable for these guys. Offensive linemen love contact. Now, I want you to watch this. This is the fun one. That's a different version of it. They're pulling this guy, and I believe they're pulling this guy. But if you watch here, they've done this mesh 1,000 times. I promise you they've done this mesh 1,000 times right here. So he's pulling. It's the same thought process. But they dropped the ball. Now, you see how he cuts this guy right here? If, let's just say he already had the ball and he went to cut that guy, that's illegal. You can't. But because because there wasn't a change of possession
or he's fighting for the football.
Because they said, but that to me that's a.
Did they not call that?
They did, but then they picked it up.
Okay.
They picked it up back because they said that the possession hadn't happened yet. But if you just watch, I mean, this again, that they've done this mesh 1,000 times, and it's just amazing. Even they make mistakes, and so that happens. Now this stuff right here was pretty amazing. I want you to look at this formation. And I want you to tell me what this formation is, Lloyd, because you've been in. Well, Stu, you've been in every one of these with me too. There's actually another guy over here down at the bottom. Look, there's a center. There's your
that overload.
There's your overload. Look, your end over. You remember how I said, man, they got all these dudes over here? I remember when this play happened. I go, LSU's got all those guys over there again. What are they doing? Well, look what they did. All right, we're just gonna blitz off the edge. That to me, like, why aren't the other teams doing that when that formation shows up? That was great. That to me was like they saw that formation somewhere in the breakdown.
They probably saw it in practice.
But I'm just saying, somewhere in the breakdown they saw that and they said, "Hey, listen, we get this look with nobody over here. I want you to go over here and just screw it. You don't have anybody to cover. You have nobody to cover. You go.
Go play with your hair on fire."
And I thought that was good. Now here's the 2 Ali Gay plays that I thought just were crazy. So the first one here, he's going to beat this tackle inside and make this play. And it's just amazing how we get lost in the mix of how good really he is. I mean, that's a great play by him. And then the next play is later in the game, but he beats a tight end inside for a tackle for loss. And right here now he's gonna do the same thing here, but he's gonna beat the guy who's playing tight. I believe it's number 0.
Darnell.
Yeah, the big guy. He beats him inside and makes the same play. And you'll see this one from the end zone copy. But or I guess from this angle, but look, there's 0 right there, and they're all blocking down this way. So, you know, he gets so far in there, and he beats him through, and that to me, we forget how good I think Ali Gay is. And
that's because Stetson Stetson never pulls it.
Well, we also had this extra guy over here. Lloyd's got to take a little sabbatical. That's okay. Stewie, you're up. You got to pull your weight now. All right. So we talked about earlier the bad fits, and what this is duo. So basically, everybody's blocking. If you can double team, you want to double team. You know, you're trying to double team back. You got hats for hats. But what's going to happen? There's a guy behind the subscribe button up here. That's the corner, and the corner should really stay more or less outside over here. Because if this guy were to bounce, he makes the play. Well, what's happening is his back is running it up in here. He's actually reading this guy. If he goes here, he goes here. If he goes here, he goes here. That's the read. But if everybody gets washed down inside and he pushes up in there, he can bounce it. So if you watch, and you can see this from the end zone too, but that guy jumped inside right here, so he jumped outside. And this happened twice, and I guarantee you they're not going to let that happen much more. That's something right there. You know, you don't want to jump all the way inside like that because you already got a guy there technically to play that gap. And that's what happened to bounce that. Now, here's the next play. This isn't the next play, but here's a play later. And it's the same play going the other way. And as you can see here, he jumps right inside right here. And when he jumps inside, there's nobody out. There's nobody outside.
Don't find me. I'm back in practice.
But again, that to me, that shows their running backs have been coached well. Because once you make the decision based on the linebacker read, you got to look and see did the edge jump inside.
Well, you saw a lot of that with Harold Perkins.
Yeah.
Is that what happened? Is that the play?
This is the second. You saw the first one in the early show, but again, he's going to jump inside here, and when he jumps inside, so if you see this, like as he's running down here, he's really reading this guy. This guy went here, so he knows now I'm going somewhere over here. And then his next view really is kind of through him to him. If he goes in here, then he knows he's going to bounce it. If this guy were to stay out here, he just knows, hey, I'm going here, but I got to push it forward. And yeah, because it's 3rd and 2 or 2nd and 2 right there. So he's looking. Listen, I'm just trying to get the first down.
Let's keep it moving.
But if that guy jumps inside like he did,
get a chunk.
Get a chunk play. Well, I always love the bounces on duos. Ojulari.
Because you coach Joe Mixon.
Yeah, true. Ojulari right here. So this is crazy. He's playing defensive end. You've got 4 guys that are running out here to block for this little halfback bubble pass. He takes this tackle. Look at the extension he's got on this tackle right here.
A power clean?
And then he pushes him off, swipes him off, and makes the play. That again, you can't forget about Ojulari and what this guy's brought to this team. I know people don't, but he gets kind of lost in the mix with Perkins and all the stuff. But that was a heck of a play by Ojulari. Now going to Stetson Bennett, a couple plays here. This is a heck of a pass. So they're running this like power pass thing, and what they're doing is they're trying to run like a little speed cross with the tight end. So they're pulling the guard. They got this guy going here. They're faking power down in there, and they're trying to get this guy to step up so that you can throw it over his head. Now he ends up kind of running himself out of the play, but you see how he steps up just enough and he hangs. Now he's going to turn and run out of the play.
He knows exactly where he's going right now.
So he looks, boom, and then perfect throw again. But that's why you do it. That's the play action. That's a great it's a great play.
Play design.
It's play design. And then I put that in there. I put that in there for y'all so y'all can talk about it.
So he dropped the mic for a 20-yard fucking pass?
He dropped the mic right there.
Oh my God. I hate this dude. Like I actually hate him now.
He tried to do the burrow.
But I want you to watch where this ball was put though. I mean, can you have better coverage than that? Sure, maybe. But to me that was a heck of a play. And
Coach, when you see Brock Bowers, the guy that just pulled that one in, Gronk, that's the first thing that goes to my mind. The hand strength.
I go more Kelsey. He's a better athlete than
Gronk. I could see more Kelsey. I don't think he's as athletic as Kelsey, but Gronk to me was such a clunker.
Yeah.
But he was
he reminds me of a clunk. He's just arms and legs.
But Gronk knew how to get open, and Gronk knew how to steal the ball from you.
Well, that's what I'm seeing right now.
Look at this. That ball's not in his hand. I want to make this point. Look at that. He actually has to double clutch that ball. And a heck of a play. Double slant. Now, again, I know this isn't LSU doing it, but keep in mind.
It's the same formation.
Formation to the boundary, 2 receivers up here. Why do you do that? Remember earlier
Identify.
I said space. They did that earlier. Well, they're going to just run the double slant here. And you're doing it for space, and you're doing it for all your defenders are down here, and you've got, like you said, you've got space now. Now you just read it out, and it ends up being an easy play. And
he's staring his routes down every time. Huh?
But that's why you do it, because just exactly like Stewie said, you got space in there, and it creates that. But I just want to make a point.
It's an easy read for him.
That doesn't get utilized, I don't think, nearly as much. Now, the other thing I want to talk about formations.
Well, and if you're Matt House, and I don't think, it's easy to play revisionist history, but if you keep getting beat by that, don't you just drop a defensive lineman at just one time and make them kind of flash?
You can, yeah, but it depends. Again, there's other things they do out of that formation too.
Yeah, for sure.
You got to be careful. What I wanted to point this out, you see this double stack formation, really wide.
That's so you can't press the guy.
That's from the Tennessee.
This is the Tennessee kind of thing that's starting to that's starting to come out. Now I want you to watch what happens here. The first guy is going to kind of delay. He has to kind of almost block because the guy's on him, but he's going to delay, and then he's going to end up just running a slant, all right? And then the back guy is actually running a vertical route, and it gets watch it kind of run everybody out of there, and then these guys who are just delaying, they end up coming free. And it's just that this guy knew too, and this is why we always coach slants as you run the angle to win. And when I say run the angle to win, if this guy's right here, you don't want to run your slant and run right into him. Even though you say 3 steps, 45-degree angle, he runs 3 steps and he sees this guy standing here, so he finds a way to populate that area right there.
And don't you run the double stack just so you can't get hands on somebody? Like if they want to run press man, It's like that's a way to be able to have a free runner essentially.
And that's why I think that's why if you looked at it, they didn't run the first guy vertical. They ran the back guy vertical because they knew the back guy would be a free release.
Coach, we're learning over here.
Couple more things. I got this. This was a. Sorry. This is the replay of this, but you can see how they really he probably could have hit that guy too, but it's just that's why you
look at the referee just all the time in the world.
So this is a drive concept, and what I mean by drive concept is I got my Caskey's clicker kind of going crazy on me. What's going to happen is he's running a basic. He's running the shallow, which is a drive. He's actually running. They're going to run him on a clear out post, right here, 84.
Little levels.
I don't know. Again, I watched the all 22 of this, and I tried to figure this out. If this was a cheat cover 3 and the safety was cheated, or if this was a disguised quarters coverage. But you want to run posts against quarters. Post routes are good against quarters, especially if you have something here that causes because this guy's going to drop back. If that would ever cause him to break up on that thing right there, that's kind of why you do it. You should be able to hit that post. But if you watch the way this happened, because you'll see it from the other angle, but this guy never got back there, and they hit right behind him and right in front of that guy. Obviously, McConkey, best name in football.
He's out.
But see what I'm saying? Like it looks to me like this guy's not playing in the middle. It looks to me like he's trying to push back. But it could have been a 3 cheat, but it looks like they almost are getting to a quarter shell. It's hard to tell, man. I'd be lying if I told you exactly what I thought that was because there's teams
that's not good.
But that's whatever it was. You just didn't get back deep enough with the post route.
Maybe like a cover 3 with a robber.
Now this right here, it's hard to see this, but really there's kind of like a triangle built here on this, and really this guy is going to end up having to take the inside guy. This guy will take the outside guy. He's over the top. And then I believe he ends up being manned up on somebody here.
Well, you don't want Penn manned up.
And you'll see this right here from the other angle. Let me get to the other angle real quick. So you see when he ran out, and he's gonna end up being your inside guy. He's your outside guy. He went down the middle, and it's just this guy got too far over. I don't know what 23 necessarily was seeing. But he might have seen this guy just for a second out of his eyes, because you got to think if you're initially lined up like this. Let me pause it here. If you're initially lined up like this, you're thinking these are the 2 outside guys. This is probably your inside guy, so he's probably thinking, well, I got to keep my eyes on him for just enough. But watch it. See how he keeps his eyes come out to him too soon. He's like, oh crap, here goes my guy from out here, because you see he kind of went from him almost to him all the way back to him. So that was a good brackets type beater that Georgia ran. So you can kick me off there. Go.
And I think even BK said in his post game pressers, like LSU he didn't say LSU, he's like there were just a couple of times where we kind of fell asleep.
Yeah.
And that's the 2 back-to-back plays that you just showed, where it's just 1 second where it's like I don't know what I'm doing for 1 second, or I got fooled for one, and that's all it takes.
Literally, like that's a half a count, a half a count of. And again, Georgia has
credit to Stetson.
But Georgia has good coaches. They got good players. It is what it is. But here's the thing, though. What I want to make a point of, and I tried to say this earlier, is there's a lot of good on that film still. Okay, you got to remember, did anybody expect them to be playing that game? I don't think. Honestly, did y'all expect them? Take it as a growth thing, and then Kayshon coming back. that right there is going to – y'all talk about nobody going in the transfer portal. How many people is he going to
recruit back?
Talk back? Or how many people does he know from other schools that maybe got in the transfer portal and he goes to the coaches and says, hey, listen,
gotta go get that.
Go get this guy. I can help you. Or and the fact that he stayed is going to make people say, these recruits, the high school recruits say, well, hell, if Kayshon's staying, something's good there. Or, you know, it might scare off a receiver or two saying, I want to play this year, but I may not play now. But I'd rather have that problem than the opposite problem. So, but I want to thank Citizens Bank and Trust here in town for sponsoring our Caskey's Clicker. They're great to us.
Caskey with a C.
Caskey with a C, yes.
Fuck that one up once.
But hey, go to Caskey's Clicker on YouTube. Subscribe, like, share it with all your people. Now that the season's over, LSU season the regular season's over or whatever. I know we've got like a month until the bowl game, so I do want to start hitting some things each week that it's a little different. Stuff that maybe hopefully y'all still be interested in. You know, why is Kansas City good? Why are the Bengals, you know, doing what they're doing? What makes Josh Allen good? Start doing some little, you know, dive-in studies.
And if you're on the LSU coaching staff, what do you do at the quarterback position going for the bowl game? Do you obviously, like you said, you have a month, but do you let Jaden just get fully healthy? Or is it you saw Nussmeier, let's see it one more time? Like, how much stock do you put in winning the bowl game? Even, I guess, because you've lost 2 straight, you'd like to get a win going into the offseason, but do you see Nussmeier and you're like, well, let's see what we have here just to go into the offseason, or is that too much controversy?
I think if Jaden Daniels is fully healthy,
he goes.
Let him play.
Me too.
If
He's earned that right.
If he doesn't, if there's anything that could put him back to where he won't be ready for spring practice, play everybody else. But I think you let him play, and then who knows how these games go? I mean, it's not the teams that you're playing in these bowl games and you're watching aren't the same teams that played last week, because half their teams checked out. Some of them aren't even playing. I mean, you got a team in the playoffs that their best receiver just opted out. Yeah. I don't know if he's hurt. If he's hurt,
he's been hurt all year.
Yeah, he's been. I think he's had
a hamstring
all year.
Yeah, but still.
I mean, he's sat out every game.
The draft isn't until April.
Hang
with your team.
That's brutal.
Hang with your team.
That's the first of its kind, though. Like, opted on a playoff
game. But I will say that it doesn't. Those things do matter to most teams in the NFL. But I will say that if you're that good, you can get it looked past.
Yeah.
But if you're a guy who, okay, we could take you or we could take Kayshon or whatever. You know, there's another guy sitting there, and this guy is giving everything he's got, and he's the same amount of talent. We're going with the other guy.
Absolutely.
Are you gonna flake on us again? And that's where a lot of that stuff kind of comes out. When they first started skipping bowl games, and it kind of all started with
McCaffrey.
Well, you remember Cedric Ogbuehi that came out of A&M, big tackle. We drafted him in the first round at Cincinnati. He blew his ACL in the, I don't know,
whatever the hell bowl,
Citrus Bowl or whatever. I'm just saying that because LSU's in it. But he blew his ACL in whatever bowl, and people started going. And he had to miss his whole rookie year, but he got drafted in the first round still because we looked at him and said, dude's a heck of a talent. But that's when all these players started saying, I'm not going to miss my rookie year for, you know.
I'm not going to hurt my draft stock for a bowl that doesn't mean anything to me.
The Jimmy Fallon Bowl.
The Duke's Mayo Bowl.
Yeah. There's a Barstool Bowl, too.
Mayo Bowl, the Mayo Bowl, I saw that. I think it was Maryland or something. But
it was Beamer that almost got concussed by the bucket of mayo.
But it
took it to the back of the head.
I honestly, as much mayo and peanut butter as we go through in our house right now, if there's a peanut butter bowl out there, like I would gladly go to the Jiffy Bowl.
Oh,
not the Jiffy Lube Bowl.
Crunchy
but the Jiffy
or
peanut
smooth?
Butter. Creamy.
Creamy.
Yeah, cause we can't do crunchy in our house because the little one eats it, and he just can't figure out that there's peanuts in the peanut butter. I don't know. We're not okay. We've gone off a whole different way. Thank y'all for joining, and we will see y'all next Tuesday.
See you next Tuesday. Bowl game watch party.